Chapter 471. Hehe, I hope the butler gives him another strange name. Inside the magic stream. Hwahoosh. Flamey's fire grew stronger as it devoured the magic power. The flames instantly engulfed Halfa's and the slimes. Wriggle, wriggle. The slimes, which instinctively swallowed anything in their path, consumed the flames and burned both inside and out, dying in the process. And then, seal release. What madness, to burn magic power inside a magic stream. Halfas quickly released the fifth seal. He realized what Flamey was attempting to do. You're trying to kill me by blowing up the magic stream. Impressive, but because of that, you'll find yourselves in even greater trouble. The explosion of one magic stream would trigger a chain reaction across all 9 streams, causing immense damage to the world and leaving it in ruins. Then there would be a gap, allowing others to enter the tower, resulting in the tower's early destruction. That won't happen. I'll stop it with my body. HMPH, do you think that's possible? Even if you manage to block it, you won't survive. That's what I want. The weaker I get, the sooner I can see my master. What, you're planning to self-destruct? Haha, is this some noble sacrifice kind of thing? While Halfas sneered at Flamey, assuming she would self-destruct to stop him. No, see you in a bit, blaze up. What do you mean by that? BOOM. The magic inside the stream, fueled by Flamey's strong will, surpassed its ignition point, causing a chain explosion. And then, what the hell is that? Halfas looked in shock at the roots of Flamey, which were densely wrapping around the magic stream beyond the massive flames. But why is it so warm? The fire burning his body wasn't hot at all. What's going on? He hesitated, missing the moment he should have extracted his soul, and boom! Halfas was swept up in the massive explosion and lost consciousness. One of the 9 streams of magic had been completely destroyed. On the 99th floor of the Black Tower. Sniff, sniff. Where is this smell coming from? While Sejun was trying to locate the source of the meat scent. Over there. Those with keen noses were already running toward the place where the smell was wafting from. But, moo, qwo. The Minotaur King, the Black Minotaur and Pinkfur stood in their way. For those who bought Harvest Festival tickets, the permitted area was only up to Sejun's farm. To step beyond the designated area meant challenging the guardians of the 99th floor of the Black Tower. Naturally, no one dared to try. Kyung. Dad, the meat smell is coming from over there. In the meantime, Kyungi flew swiftly, carrying Sejun and his group toward the source of the meat scent. As they moved, to the west where they were heading, 2 faint blue streams of light connecting the sky to the ground came into view, and near them, destruction devourers could be seen with their mouths wide open, consuming something from the air. I wondered where they went. Turns out they were all there. What is that, though? As Sejun muttered to himself while looking at the streams. Kaiwat, Kaiwat, Kaiwat. Sejunum, that's the magic stream. Yona from Theo's Tale pointed at the blue streams and spoke. So that's what a magic stream looks like. While Sejun marveled at seeing a magic stream for the first time. Rumble. Suddenly, thousands of black, round objects fell from the blue streams. Kyung, Kyung. Dad, it's that. That's where the meat smell is coming from. Kyungi quickly flew to where the objects had just fallen, with Sejun and his companions in tow. As they got closer, the smell of meat grew stronger. And then, corpse of the 5th Calamity Slime. The name appeared above the object, emitting the scent of meat. The 5th Calamity Slime. What? Why is a calamity here? That's why the destruction devourers were heading this way. Sejun understood why the destruction devourers had gathered and cautiously approached the slime's corpse. The slime's body was black and hard, as if it had been burnt to death. Vice Chairman Theo, your claws. As Sejun picked up Theo and held his front paw. Got it, meow. Snap. Theo kindly extended his dragon claws for Sejun. Slice. Sejun used Theo's dragon claws to cut into the slime's body, revealing a slightly cooked, bright red meat inside, contrasting with its charred exterior. Thick juices flowed from the meat, releasing a fragrance that quickly spread around them. Wow, this is crazy. It was an incredibly delicious smell, unlike anything Sejun had ever encountered before. Slurp. Kyungi, who was watching from behind, quickly wiped away the drool from his mouth. You want some too, Kyungi? In fact, he also wanted to taste this meat as soon as possible. Should I grill a few pieces to try? Just as Sejun was about to cut more meat with Theo's claws. Kaiwat, Sejun Nim, the magic stream's movement is strange. We need to leave here quickly. Okay. Sejun didn't bother to ask why or what's happening. One of the truths he had learned from surviving near-death situations was to move first and ask questions later. He could figure out the reason afterward. However, BOOM. Before Sejun could take a few steps, one of the two blue streams started turning red, with immense magic power surging within. It's too late. Sejun's survival instincts, like those of a sunfish, told him there was no escape. And then, the red current disappeared as quickly as it had come, leaving the area calm once more. What just happened? As Sejun was wondering, one of the two magic streams connected to the 99th floor of the Black Tower has disappeared. The blessing of the two streams of magic has been reduced to the blessing of one stream. Messages appeared in front of him. Iona, is it possible for a magic stream to disappear? Kaiwat. I'm not sure either, Sejun Nim. If it had vanished, it shouldn't be this quiet. Is that so? Since even the great wizard couldn't understand it, Sejun decided not to worry about it either. Then let's just go eat the meat. Kyung. Sounds good. With that, Sejun and his group began gathering the slime meat and headed back to the farm. Don't forget. Kaying. What kind of dream was that? Blackie, who had been sleeping as if unconscious, suddenly woke up. And then, this presence, it's Halfaz's energy. Blackie sensed Halfaz's aura nearby. Why is he here? He was briefly curious, but then thought, what's important is not why he's here, but that I now have a new subordinate. I hope the butler gives him another strange name. Excited at the thought of bringing Halfaz to Sejun for a new name, Blackie pushed his curiosity aside. Jumping out of Sejun's sling bag, Blackie climbed onto a destruction devourer and rode off to capture Halfaz. At the spot where the magic stream had been moments before. Where am I? A crow, the size of a sparrow, looked around, confused. It was a place he had never seen before. And then, after thinking for a while, who am I? The crow realized he didn't remember who he was or what his name was. He couldn't recall anything. At that moment, Kaying. Hey, long time no see. Kiki. Blackie, who appeared riding a destruction devourer, called out to Halfaz. Meanwhile, Blackie's other subordinates slowly surrounded Halfaz, ready to pounce in case he tried to escape. Call? Are you calling me? Halfaz responded to Blackie's call. Kaying. Yeah, you. Call? You know me. Kaying. Of course I do. You're the lost subordinate of the great Blackie Nim me. He's out of it again. Blackie confidently shouted after assessing Halfaz's condition. He had lost his memory before, but this time it seemed he had forgotten everything entirely. Blackie was trying to easily make Halfaz his subordinate. However, me your subordinate, that's impossible, you must be my subordinate. Halfaz's inferiority complex toward Fenrir, engraved deep in his soul, refused to let him become Blackie's subordinate. Kaying. That's right, and not only that, you're the youngest among my subordinates. Become a subordinate of the great Blackie Nim. Angered by Halfaz's words, Blackie charged at him. And so the battle began. Kaying. Take my front paw punch. Pug. Caw. Bring it, I'll peck you to pieces. Peck. Kaying. You used your beak, then I'll bite you too. Caw. Let go of this. Despite being a fight between the first and second apostles of destruction, it was embarrassingly trivial. Great Blackingham hang in there. K. Kurug. Shararang. Great Blackingham fighting, you must win. Kiki. Iamdal, G. Gomi, K. Kabai, Jackie, and the Destruction Devourers all cheered for Blackie from the sidelines. If the Great Blackingham wins, we'll escape being the youngest. Especially Jackie, who had only been the youngest for less than a day, was cheering the hardest for Blackie, hopping to pass the title to someone else. After an hour, Kakilahit Kaying. It's the victory of the Great Blackingham. Kolkon. How humiliating to think I would lose. Blackie stood triumphantly over a fallen Halfas, striking a victory pose with his trembling legs. Phew, that was a good meal. Sejun, who had hosted a meat party with everyone participating in the harvest festival using the slime meat, leaned back in satisfaction. Okay, just stamp here. Sejun then received the antennae stamps of the mushroom ants on the full-time employee contract. Stamp. The mushroom ant stamped the spot Sejun indicated with its antennae. Kwek. The mushroom ant, now a full-time employee, entered the group proudly, receiving congratulations from its peers. Kwek. The next mushroom ant confidently raised its antennae and approached Sejun. Stamp. As Sejun received more and more antennae stamps from the mushroom ants, it was soon midnight and the grape harvesting competition has ended. Rewards will be distributed to participants ranked from 1st to 100th in the grape harvesting contest. Participants of the grape harvesting competition who placed within the top 100 received their rewards. And then, Meow Pewhut, Chairman Park, take this, Meow. It's the first place reward, Meow. The handed Sejun the first place reward from the grape harvesting competition. Sejun's face stiffened as he received 1,000 seedless grapes for beginners. Kyung. This is for the weak dad to eat. Kyut. I'll give this to you, Sejun Nim. Kyung. Moo. Following that, Kyungi, Yona, Pinkfur, the Minotaur King, the Black Minotaurs, and the other companions handed over their rewards to Sejun. Thus, Sejun ended up getting all the rewards from 1st to 100th place. However, Sejun's face hardened even more, because all the rewards were seedless grapes for beginners. Sejun now held 3,000 tasteless seedless grapes for beginners. Are you kidding me? You should have given Harvest Festival commemorative grapes instead. Finally, Sejun's anger exploded and Meow, was it bad, Meow? Meow, I'm very, very angry, Meow. Theo got angry a beat late. Uncle Nim, you're impeached, Meow. Theo wanted to impeach Uncle, the god of grapevines, for giving Sejun a reward he didn't like. You cannot impeach Uncle, the god of grapevines. But Theo didn't have the authority to do that. Uncle Nim, just you wait, Meow. In the end, Theo added Uncle's name to his impeachment list, promising to deal with it later. And so, Uncle was added to Theo's impeachment list without even knowing it. Seed Shop Headquarters. The grape harvesting competition has ended. A total of 230,000 people participated in the grape harvesting competition. You have earned 23,000 divine power. As expected of Park Sejun. Trust in Park. Uncle and the non-combat gods were delighted with the divine power they received as rewards from the competition. It's a shame. If only our Park Sejun had placed in the rankings, we could have given him some great rewards. Exactly. Investing in Park Sejun always guarantees huge returns. Really, it's such a pity. They were lamenting the fact that they couldn't give better rewards since Sejun hadn't ranked, unaware that all the rewards had actually gone to Sejun. All right, the next competition's reward will be this. Uncle smirked as he pulled out 5,000 seedless grapes for beginners as the reward for the upcoming grape-eating competition. Chapter 472. You're in big trouble. At the boundary, where the powers of destruction and the tower are balanced. The power of destruction definitely fluctuated. Was it temporary? A dragon saw the black moon briefly grow larger and something escaped from it. We need to keep a close watch for now. Yeah, we can't let our guard down. The leaders of the 9 dragon clans and all the dragons had gathered, preparing for battle. Recently, when destruction had forcibly opened the black moon, and the power of destruction had intensified, prompting the dragons who sensed it to gather in haste. And then, no, why does it have to be now of all times? Exactly. Sejun is probably eating a bunch of delicious food without knowing how hard we're working. Of course, the harvest festival must be in full swing by now. This makes me so angry, Graya. The members of the 4 Dragon Council, frustrated at missing the harvest festival, unleashed their angry breath attacks toward the red mist. Then, the leaders have stepped up, let's shoot our breath too. The other dragons also started firing their breath attacks. Clang! Thanks to them, a tremendous amount of tower coins was generated. Collect, I hope our Sejun leaves some for us too. Collect, our Sejun definitely would have left some for us. Collect, of course, our Sejun is so loyal. Collect, but I was the one who defeated that. No, you were. The members of the 4 Dragon Council hurriedly gathered the tower coins. Hopping Sejun would leave some of their food behind. Surely the rewards for the grape-eating competition won't be the same. Guys, time to sleep. Sejun hoped the rewards for the next competition would be different as he prepared to go to bed. However, where did Blackie go? Sejun finally realized his sling bag was empty. Blackie. Just as Sejun hurried to go find Blackie. Kiki. Kiki. The destruction devourers came carrying the soundly sleeping Blackie. Kekirorong. Iamrarong. Kekurorong. Shararong. Jajarong. Kayahorong. Who's this now? Sejun's eyes caught sight of a small crow sleeping next to Blackie. A black bird, maybe I'll call it Cassie. TL Cassie Kolkhusainus is a combination of Kolkumen-inus, Kamen, and Kolserinus, SAE, which mean black and bird, respectively. Seeing the new arrival, Sejun's brain automatically started thinking of names. Sejun's naming shop was about to start business unconsciously. But, no, I can't. Let's just sleep for now. I'm too sleepy. Due to the accumulated fatigue of the owner, the naming shop closed early, and thanks to that, Halfa's gained some time. Not knowing that the current name was a relatively good option. Theo Iona, good night. Pew Hut, good night to you too, Chairman Park, meow. Kaiwat, good night, Sejun Nim. Kua. As soon as Sejun lay down, he fell asleep. Gorarong. Kurarong. Soon after, Theo and Iona also fell asleep. In the quiet hours of the early morning, when everyone was asleep. Hey, now that I'm weakened, I can appear before Master. Flamey's avatar staggered toward Sejun's house. Although her strength would gradually recover, the blessing of peace would reduce her attack power, allowing her to stay by Sejun's side until the festival was over. As Flamey's avatar finally reached the front yard of Sejun's house, struggling to get there. Flamey Nim. Pottery cautiously called out to Flamey. What is it? Flamey's voice spiked involuntarily due to the eagerness to hurry to Sejun. Well, Uncle, the god of the grapevine, he. In response to Flamey's sharp tone, Pottery even more cautiously reported Uncle's misdeeds from earlier today. And then, what? Uncle gave Sejun Nim tasteless grapes as a reward. Flamey exploded in fury upon hearing Pottery's report. Yes, what should we do about Uncle? Pottery asked in a loyal voice, as if ready to do anything Flamey ordered. Here the only correct answer was yes. Saying no could result in a few of Pottery's roots turning to ash. First, close Uncle Road for 3 days and inform Uncle. If the next competition reward disappoints Sejun Nim again, tell him that Uncle Road will be permanently closed and a World Tree meeting will be convened. What a World Tree meeting? Hell? Without realizing, Pottery reflexively questioned it. The World Tree meeting is a meeting where the roots of world trees from all over the world gather to decide on an agenda by majority vote. The more world trees that attend the meeting, and the more world trees that support the agenda, the stronger the enforcement power of that agenda becomes. In the past, the World Tree meeting once gathered 100 world trees to strip a god of their divinity for committing evil acts. The World Tree meeting is capable of wielding such immense power, but there is one condition to hold a meeting. At least 10 world trees must attend the meeting for it to be held. However, the only world tree Pottery knew was Sparky from the 79th floor of the tower. Don't worry about that. Sausage will soon become a world tree, and I've also nurtured several others during this time. Flamey responded to Pottery's concerns. Flamey had traveled to many worlds, searching for trees with the potential to grow into world trees, giving them nutrients to help them mature into full-fledged world trees. Currently, 9 trees were on the verge of becoming world trees, and about 30 more were under Flamey's care, growing diligently. You could say they were Flamey's kids. If a world tree meeting were to be held, the odds of Flamey's agenda being passed unanimously would be 100%. Yes, then I'll go relay this to Uncle. As expected, Flamey Nim is meticulous. Following Flamey's orders, Pottery hurriedly closed Uncle Road. After giving Pottery his instructions, hub, Flamey hopped up the stairs, one step at a time. Moments later, I've arrived. Flamey arrived on Sejun's bed. Master, I missed you. Flamey carefully wrapped Sejun's finger with 2 of her leaves and closed her eyes. Seed Shop Headquarters. Now shall we start preparing for the grape-eating competition, Huap. Just as Uncle, the god of the grapevine, was stretching his right arm and gearing up. Uncle Nim, Uncle Road will be closed for the next 3 days. Pottery delivered the news like a bolt from the blue. Why? Sejun Nim was greatly disappointed with the competition reward. What? Park Sejun received the reward? That can't be. There's no way Park Sejun was in the top 100. Uncle had checked 5 times just to make sure Sejun wasn't on the list, so he was certain. Yes, all the prize winners gave their rewards to Sejun Nim. I see, so that's what happened. Those folks knew too, investing in Park Sejun would pay off. Truly trust in Park. As soon as Uncle heard Pottery's explanation, he immediately understood. If the next competition's reward is also unsatisfactory, Flamey Nim said she would permanently close Uncle Road and call for a World Tree meeting. I got it. Tell her not to worry. I'll prepare a reward for the next competition that will surely make Park Sejun happy. No, in fact, he had already prepared it. It's just that Sejun didn't rank high enough to receive it. All right, I'm going to receive a monument from Park Sejun too. Uncle clenched his fist and resumed preparations for the competition. The next morning. All right. The seal of the Earth's jewel has been broken. Weed, the god of weeds, teaches you the skill weed pulling LV, one to repay your kindness. As Sejun opened his eyes in the morning, a message appeared before him. Weed pulling LV, 1. There's a slightly higher chance that the roots of weeds won't break even if you pull them out carelessly. Weed Nim gets 3.3 square meter. There were no weeds on Sejun's farm, so there was no need to pull weeds. When Sejun decided the size of Weed Road. You have lifted the seals of 5 gods. You have completed the quest conditions. As a reward for completing the quest, you have obtained 5 drops of the growth elixir. As the quest was completed, a glass bottle appeared in Sejun's hand. No, it's the last one, so I should give 33 square meters. Finally, the seals on all 31 gods trapped within the earth's jewels that Theo had brought were lifted. Sejun decided to make weed rode large to finish on a high note. At that moment, Flamey. Sejun noticed Flamey clinging tightly to his finger. Hee, Sejun Nim, did you sleep well? Yeah, did you sleep well too, Flamey? Yes. Where have you been lately? I was worried. Sejun asked while petting Flamey. Farmer's Warm Touch LV8 is activated. Your touch slightly heal the weakened at $% apple tree Flamey. As Sejun's skill activated, it began healing Flamey. Flamey, are you sick? Vice Chairman Theo, please heal our Flamey. Seeing the unreadable symbols, Sejun assumed it was a serious illness. Pew Hut, don't worry, Chairman Park, meow. But can I use the treasures stored in the warehouse, meow? Of course. Pew Hut, just leave it to me, meow. As Theo raised his paw to begin healing Flamey. No. Flamey hurriedly cried out. If they tried to heal her, not only would it cost a lot of money, but Sejun would also be harmed. So she quickly stopped him. What do you mean, no? No, I'm fine. Just Sejun Nim's healing is enough for me. Hezzy. See, my Flamey knows how to say such adorable things. All right, leave it to me, but if it hurts, tell me right away, okay? Yes. Pad. As Flamey monopolized Sejun's hand, basking in the gentle pats. Kaying. Butler, good morning. Did you sleep well? Kay Kurug. Sharalang. Good morning. Blackie and his underlings also woke up. And then, what's this? Why are they greeting such a weak being first? Halfas watched them silently. Kaying. Quick, greet my butler politely. Whack. Of course, Halfas, who was trying to be defiant, got smacked on the back of the head by Blackie. Call. Thus, Halfas awkwardly nodded his head and reluctantly greeted Sejun. Kaying. Butler, this is the new guy I exorcised. Quickly, give him a name. Blackie asked Sejun to name Halfas. Thump. Blackie and his underlings looked at Sejun with eyes full of anticipation. A name that others would laugh at when they heard it. A name so shameful that one would be embarrassed to say it themselves. Of course, they all hoped for a name even weirder than their own to come out of Sejun's mouth. All right, time to show my nomming skills. And so, Sejun's nomming shop opened for business again. Since it's a black crow kaka, TL kaka kol huthainus is a combination of kol hemanenus, kamen which means black and kol hemaquienus, kamagui which means crow. No. Let's use a slightly more refined word today. Since it's a black crow using the Chinese character for crow Chinese letter cow, TL cow kol hoinus is a combination of kol hemaquienus kamagui meaning crow and hangul koinus, O, which is the Hanja form of the Chinese character Chinese letter also meaning crow or black as crow. This forms cow, kol hoinus. Since it's a black bird Chinese letter kajo, TL kajo kol hudoinus is a combination of kol hemanenus, kamen meaning black and kol choinus, jo, which is the Hanja form of the Chinese character Chinese letter which means bird. This forms kajo kol hudoinus. Unlike last night, Sejun, feeling more energetic than the night before, upgraded the nomming level by using Chinese characters. However, Kao Kajo, even after saying them aloud, none of them felt quite right. Just then, Pio. Good morning, Sejun Nim. Sejun Nim, hello. Piat and Urin approached Sejun to greet him. Oh right, Piat's full name was Pururur Yatra, wasn't it? So how about Karurur? Karurur. Sejun quietly said it aloud. Oh, this is it. It felt good, rolled smoothly off the tongue, and was satisfying to say. From now on, you're Karurur. When Sejun named Halfas Karurur. As expected, Butler is a genius. Sejun Nim's nomming skills are truly unparalleled. Phew, I'm so glad it wasn't me. Now I'm no longer embarrassed by my name. I'm glad I came early. Blackie and his underlings trembled with joy. The new name, Karurur, perfectly met their expectations, a name that others would laugh at upon hearing, and one that would be embarrassing to say out loud. Thus Karurur received his new name. Ko, how dare you name me Karurur? Naturally, he rebelled and started causing a ruckus. At that moment, Kyung, Dad, good morning. Kyungi entered just then. Ko, Kyung. Quiet down. Kyungi is angry because Kyungi is hungry. Kyungi, who was in a bad mood due to hunger, tried to grab Karurur and quiet him down. HMPH, do you think you can ignore me just because I look weak? Let me tell you, the physical body isn't everything. Thunk. Karurur headbutted Kyungi in an attempt to put him in his place, and they both lost consciousness. Kakilahit Kaying. Hehe, Karurur, you're in big trouble. Blackie watched the scene and laughed slyly. 1 second later. Kayo. Karurur woke up screaming in terror. Chapter 473. Ha, you're a genius guy, Park Sejun, you've done it again. Sejun had breakfast with his companions. Now it's time to work. On the third day of the harvest festival, there were no competitions, so he decided to work in the void storage in the morning. Kyungi, I'll give you some pocket money, so buy lots of delicious food. He gave Kyungi pocket money to play in the raccoon market. Kyung. Hehe, Dad, thank you. As Kyungi ran off toward the raccoon market, getting further away. Ko, how can the beast of apocalypse? Karurur, who had been whining and clinging to Blackie's back saying he was scared to be alone, spoke with only his head peeking out of the sling bag. Karurur couldn't have imagined that it would encounter the beast of apocalypse that it had only heard about in stories. Ko, Captain Blackie, I survived an encounter with the beast of apocalypse. As soon as Kyungi disappeared, Karurur tried to boast about surviving the encounter with the beast of apocalypse without getting hurt, but all that was heard was the sound of Blackie snoring. Come to think of it, I'm tired. Having been frozen in fear the whole time Kyungi was around, the tension finally released, and fatigue overwhelmed Karurur. Karurung. He dozed off. And then, clink. Kaya. Kiki. Yes, good morning. Sejun entered the void storage, receiving morning greetings from the Destruction Pioneers and Destruction Devourers. Your field LV-8 has been activated. You have planted the Destruction Devourer seed in the body of Kruger, the Destroyer of Mountains and seventh seat of the Apostle of Destruction. Sejun diligently planted Destruction Devourer seeds with the Destruction Pioneers and also planted other crops. After about 2 hours of farming, why aren't these growing? Sejun stared intently at the spot where he had planted the dragon fruit and all-devouring jelly, both of which were transcendence-grade seeds he had bought from the seed shop. It had been nearly 3 weeks since they were planted, yet there was no sign of sprouting. Were there additional conditions required for them to germinate? Sejun pondered for a moment. If it's dragon fruit, could it be related to dragons? He decided to look for a hint about the germination conditions from the seed's name. Then, scritch. Sejun carefully dug up the spot where the dragon fruit seed was planted. Then, it's clean without any roots. He saw the dragon fruit seed, completely unchanged from before it was planted. Pick. Sejun picked up the dragon fruit seed and transplanted it into a small flower pot. Aileen, could you put this near you? He entrusted the flower pot to Aileen. His plan was to leave the dragon fruit seed near her for a few days to observe any changes. The tower's administrator says in a very anxious voice that she is not sure if she can grow a plant properly. Having only received care but never actually grown anything, Aileen was afraid of nurturing something. It's fine. I'll tell you the exact time and amount of water to give. Plus, if the plant starts wilting, I can heal it with my skill. The tower's administrator says that if that's the case, she'll trust you and try growing it. Encouraged by Sejun's words, Aileen decided to give it a try. Yes, thank you for being brave. After entrusting the dragon fruit pot to Aileen. Scritch, scritch. Sejun carefully dug up the spot where the all-devouring jelly was planted this time. Huh. Unlike the dragon fruit seed, the all-devouring jelly seed had changed. First, its size had grown from a millet to about the size of a pea, and all-devouring jelly seed, one gulp. The name had also changed. One gulp. What was this? When Sejun examined the seed closely. All-devouring jelly seed, one gulp. You can check the options after harvesting. It has swallowed water. A single line had been added to the description. It swallowed water. Should he give it more water then? Sejun dropped a few more droplets of water onto the seed and watched closely, but even after 10 minutes, there was no noticeable change. Is this not it, Since it's called the all-devouring jelly, should he give it something else? Sejun had no idea what exactly the all-devouring jelly might swallow, but he began to suspect that it might need to devour a variety of things in order to sprout. So he started offering various things to the seed. He first tried giving it small crops like rice and corn kernels, which the seed could swallow, but he failed. Then, drip. When he gave it honey. Gulp. The seed slightly opened and swallowed the honey. Drip, drip. Sejun continued feeding the seed honey until it stopped swallowing. Once the seed stopped. All-devouring jelly seed, 2 gulps. You can check the options after harvesting. It has swallowed both water and honey. The name and description had changed. Could it be that it can only swallow liquids? Drip. To test his hypothesis, Sejun immediately squeezed some sugarcane juice and gave it to the seed. All-devouring jelly seed, 3 gulps. The name changed again. This is it. Finally, he had figured it out. Ha ha ha, you're a genius guy, Park Sejun. You've done it again. Sejun, feeling pleased with himself, hurriedly started squeezing various crops that could produce juice, increasing the seed's gulp count. At the raccoon market, we greet Kyunggi-nim. We greet the boss. Rack, the black bear managing the melon farm on the 80th floor of the tower, and the black bears of the Kyung gang on the first floor, greeted Kyunggi with a 90-degree bow as he strolled through the market. Since Rack and the Kyung gang were of the same species, they had met during the harvest festival and were now hanging out together. Kyuehe Kyung Kyung. Hehe, good to see you. Are you all living well? Of course. Yes, we're only making slaves out of those who pick fights with us by getting their seal. Kyung Kyung. No, that's not allowed. Dad said no more slaves. Kyungi exclaimed in shock at the words of his gang, underling. Huh. Then what should we do? Kyung Kyung. From now on, instead of making slaves out of those who pick fights, hire them as non-regular employees. Make sure they get 3 meals a day. Yes, we understand. Feeling proud after informing the Black Bears of the new policy from Sejun Company, Kyungi beamed. Kyung Kyung. Everyone follow Kyungi. Kyungi will buy you something delicious. Using the pocket money Sejun had given him, Kyungi bought food from street vendors for the Black Bears. But soon after, Kyung. Dad's pocket money is all gone. Kyungi's pocket money ran out way too quickly. It was only natural, given that Kyungi, who could easily spend that money by himself, had been spending it on the 301 hungry black bears. At that moment, Yuehe, how much is this? Kyungi heard a familiar voice. Kyung. It's Yurin Hyung. If I go around with rich Yurin Hyung, I can feed my subordinates until they're full. With a sense of responsibility to take care of his subordinates, Kyungi hurriedly ran toward Yurin. Ah, Kyungi. As Yurin was about to greet the approaching Kyungi, he was suddenly surrounded by figures wearing black hoods. And then, we got him, quickly, let's get out of here. Bang! The figures in black hoods threw a smoke bomb, and the area was soon covered in a gray mist. Kuyang. Kyungi quickly used his Kyung Fu to blow the smoke away, but by the time the smoke cleared, Yurin and the black-hooded figures had already disappeared. Kyung. Where did Yurin Hyung go? Kyungi was confused by Yurin's sudden disappearance. Kyungi Nim, it seems Yurin Nim has been kidnapped. Rak explained the situation to Kyungi. Kyung. Yurin Hyung got kidnapped, then Kyungi will go save him. Shall we track them down right away? Rak and the Kyung gang began to move quickly, but Kyung. No, first we need to tell Dad. Dad will worry. As expected of the filial son Kyungi. Kyungi hurriedly went to find Sejun to tell him he was going out for a while. A little while later. What? Yurin got kidnapped. Then Detective Sherlock Sejun must step in. As expected, Yurin the Misfortune King had gotten himself into trouble again, unable to stay out of harm's way for even a moment. Upon hearing Kyungi's words, Sejun stood up, putting the all-devouring jelly seed, now at 15 gulps, into his pocket. Pew hut. Then Detective Sherlock Sejun's brilliant assistant, Theosin, will step in too, meow. Kyung. Then Detective Cunnan will join too. Sejun, Theo, and Kyungi set off to find Yurin. And we're not detectives though, what should we do? Well, the boss is going, so we should at least follow, right? The 301 black bears also followed the three from behind. Machun. Yurin, who had lost consciousness after being kidnapped, awoke to see a pink pig standing in front of him and spoke. It's been a while, Yurin. I've heard you've been doing quite well recently. So, where are my brother Majin and the others? Machun, don't tell me you're involved in this too. Yurin's face filled with disbelief. Unlike Majin, Machun had always helped him in difficult times. Even within the family, Machun had a stellar reputation. But now, yes, actually, I'm the one who gave the orders. It's all to become the head of the demon family. Machun was, in fact, the mastermind who had driven Yurin out of the family in order to become the next head of the demon family. Eek, how could you? If someone soft like you becomes the head, our demon family will collapse in no time. Furious at Machun's words, Yurin tried to get up, but Machun's subordinates held him down, making it impossible to move. So he didn't kill them. As expected, he soft. Seeing Yurin's reaction, Machun became certain that Majin and the others were still alive. Hurry up and tell me where Evis and Nelly are, or you'll face some very unpleasant torture. Machun threatened, pressing a knife against Yurin. The truth was, Machun wasn't in a good situation either. A problem arose when Evis, the heir to the green pig family, and Nelly, the heir to the red pig family, both branch families, went missing. Both the green and red pig families declared they would withdraw their support if their heirs didn't return. The demon family had 5 branch families: the black pig, blue pig, red pig, green pig, and yellow pig families. Of those, the black pig family supported the official heir, Yurin. The blue pig family remained neutral, while the remaining 3 branch families supported Machun. If the green and red pig families withdrew their support, it would leave both Yurin and Machun with only one supporting family each. However, among the branch families, the black pig family was the strongest, while the yellow pig family was the weakest, putting Machun at a significant disadvantage. To make matters worse, rumors had recently spread within the family that Yurin was recovering the money he had previously lost due to his gullibility, improving his reputation little by little. I absolutely need the support of those 2 families. That's why Machun had taken the risky step of kidnapping Yurin by coming all the way to the Black Tower with his subordinates. Of course, it was a huge mistake. Bang! Kyung! Detective Cunnan found them by scent. That's not true, meow. Theosin, Detective Sherlock Sejun's assistant, pointed this way with my front paw first, meow. Kyung. No, Detective Cunnan found them. That's not true, meow. It was Theosin, meow. As Kyungi and Theo, who had burst through the cave wall, argued over who had found the location first. Heh, this is a locked room case. Everyone stop. The culprit is in here. Sejun slowly entered, calling out. Kaiwat, Kaiwat, Kaiwat. Oh, power of ice, freeze everything, freeze. From Sejun's shoulder, Leona, who had been protecting him, cast a spell. All right, everyone except Yurin is the culprit, right? And just like that, Yurin's kidnapping case was solved anticlimactically. Pew Hut, Chairman Park, are these one's full-time employee, meow? Of course, they dared to try and kidnap Yurin, who is the very essence of Sejun Company's finance department. Pew Hut, got it, meow. Then it's an eternal contract, meow. Press. Following Sejun's words, Theo used the 9 dragons employee contract seal to make Machun and his subordinates full-time employees. Pew Hut, Assistant Manager Jeff, here are the new interns, meow. Theo handed Machun and his subordinates over to Jeff. And then, brother, Machun Nim, Madef. After being handed over to Jeff, Machun met Majin, Avis, and Nellie, who had been working as wandering merchants. Silver Tower, 82nd floor. Wuwash. A wasteland where sharp winds, sharp enough to cut anything, blew fiercely. Rocks that were being pierced by the sand carried by the wind stood precariously, as if they could crumble at any moment. Saphiro, are we there yet? Great Chieftain, we're almost there. 2 men walking through such a wasteland. One of them, the man being guided, was a head and a half taller than the other. Both men had silver hair, and strangely enough, no wind blew around them. It was eerily still. A short while later, there it is. The guide pointed toward a grapevine that had been reduced to just bare branches. Saphiro, you said you saw that grapevine full of grapes just yesterday. Yes, I'm certain. That confirms it. It's the harvest festival. Then, yes, the first grape harvesting competition has ended, so the second grape eating competition will soon take place. Saphiro, this is a chance to eat our fill. Hurry and spread the word to all the residents of the tower. Yes. Following the order of Quinn, the tower farmer of the Silver Tower, Saphiro quickly flew away with the wind to deliver the message. Chapter 474, Isn't Dad the Best? While Theo was handling the aftermath of rescuing Yurin. All-devouring jelly seed, 50 gulps. All right, it's up to 50 gulps now. Sejun was squeezing juice into the all-devouring jelly seed with Kyungi. Kyung. It's coming out. Squeeze, squeeze. Even crops that were almost devoid of moisture obediently released their juices in front of the Kyungi the juicer. Feeding the growth elixir to the all-devouring jelly seed alongside the squeezed juice, it reached 70 gulps, and the seed had grown to the size of a small walnut. But apart from the slight change in its name and description, there wasn't much difference. There's no sign of sprouting at all. And now there was no more liquid to feed it. As Sejun was deep in thought. Sejun Nim, how about feeding the seed some of your cooking? Flamey gave Sejun a hint. Cooking? Yes, soup dishes. That's right, the jelly seed can drink the broth from the dishes too. Thanks, Flamey. Hee, I'm just happy to be helpful to my master. While Sejun was praising Flamey. SSSSSSSS. Q-heh. U-heh. K-killahit. Kyungi, Yurin, Blackie, and their followers, overhearing the conversation, were laughing and kept wiping their drooling mouths. If Sejun was going to make soup to feed the seed, that meant they could also eat the dish. Well then, let's start cooking. As everyone watched Sejun prepare a dish. Pew Hut, Chairman Park, I'm back, meow. Theo, who had quickly finished the aftermath, returned. And then, Pew Hut. Now I just need to pay off a little of Yurin's debt, and I can go to Yurin's house, meow. Theo, having gathered information on the demon family through Machun, smiled mischievously at Yurin. Shudder, shudder. What is this? Why was his body suddenly shivering? Yurin trembled. Chairman Park, Yurin seems sick, meow. Quickly give him some hot soup, meow. Theo, who had been watching Urine, urged Sejun in. Urine, are you not feeling well? Then try sprinkling some red pepper powder on this and eat it. Sejun handed over a bowl of 5-colored bean sprout soup and a container of chili powder made from sundried red peppers. 5-colored bean sprout soup. 5-colored beans, fully absorbing the nutrients from the tower, were grown with light blocked and only water provided. Upon consumption, all stats increased by 11% for 10 seconds. Due to the effects of cooking LV. 10. The ingredients effects are increased by 10%. Chef Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Expiration date, 5 days. Grade A. Sundried red pepper chili powder. This powder is made by drying and grinding sun-dried red peppers grown inside the tower. Upon consumption, one randomly chosen stat will increase by 5.5 if sufficient light is received. The effect only appears if 2g, the amount equivalent to one sundried red pepper, is consumed. Due to the effects of cooking LV. 10. The ingredients effects are increased by 10%. Cultivator, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Expiration date, 300 days. Grade A. Thank you. If I pretend to be sick, I can be the first to get food right. Urine wasn't really sick, but he decided to continue pretending so he could eat first. However, slurp. As soon as he took a bite, his stomach immediately felt better. Sejun, this is so delicious. Can I mix it with rice? The 5-colored bean sprout soup with chili powder was too delicious for Urine to keep up the act of being sick. The tower administrator praises your cooking skills once again, saying they are truly excellent. Kyung. Dad's cooking is the best. Kakilahit Kaying. Hee, did you see that? My butler's cooking skills. Thanks to Sejun making a variety of dishes, everyone was enjoying a win-win situation. Pew Hut, if you want to eat, pay up or become an employee, meow. Theo, having now joined the win-win team, had already taken some of Sejun's dishes outside, selling them while simultaneously recruiting new employees. Get in line. If you come at me, I'll make you an employee. Thea handled the food delivery, while the Black Bears managed the food sales and recruitment of employees. Pew Hut, Chairman Park, make me some stir-fried slime and stir-fried squid, meow. When Theo brought Sejun a container with the necessary ingredients for the dishes. Got it. Wung. Sejun infused the dish with magic using his cooking skill and prepared the meal. Just like the saying, even a dog recites poetry after 3 years at the village school, Theo, after 300 days of sitting on Sejun's knees, had perfected his understanding of the ingredients needed for each dish. TL. Even a dog recites poetry after 3 years at the village school is a Korean proverb which is a metaphorical expression that even someone with no knowledge or experience in a specific field can reach a certain level if they spend a long time in that field. While Sejun was cooking, Pew Hut, money and employees are increasing, meow. Theo was thrilled as the number of employees and the money kept growing. You have gained 20 slaves. Due to the effect of title, Slave King, all stats increase by 0.2. Your soul is filled with overflowing praise. Mental strength increases by 2. You have fed 100 people to their fill. Due to the effect of title, Saint of Feeding, all stats increase by 10. Sejun was also pleased as his mental strength and stats steadily increased. The tower system recognized them as slaves, even though their titles had been changed to employees. A short while later. Phew, I'm completely burned out. All-devouring jelly seed, 95 gulps. After making 25 different dishes over 3 hours, Sejun had achieved 95 gulps. We're done for today. Kyung. Already. I need to avenge my defeat in the last carrot eating competition. Kyungi, who had been warming up for the grape eating competition happening tomorrow, looked disappointed at Sejun's words. For Kyungi, whose seal had been released, 25 dishes felt like eating just one macaron. Well, fine, Just eat 10 more servings and then sleep, okay? Feeling soft-hearted seeing Kyungi's disappointed face, Sejun began preparing more food. Kyuehe Kyung. Hey, got it, Dad's the best. Kyungi rubbed his face against Sejun's arm, acting cute. And then, hey, right, is Dad the best? Kyung. That's right, Dad's the best. Heze. Falling for Kyungi's charm, Sejun ended up making 3 more types of dishes, totaling 30 servings before going to bed. Even though his body was utterly exhausted. Hehe, Kyungi said I'm the best. His face was full of smiles. Seed shop headquarters. All right, once Park Sejun wakes up, the second event of the Harvest Festival, the grape eating competition, will begin. Uncle, the god of grapevines, looked toward the center of the headquarters in anticipation of the upcoming grape eating competition. Time remaining until the grape eating competition 8:00:00. Having heard about Sejun's situation in detail through pottery, Uncle discarded all the grapes prepared for the competition and made new ones. Initially, he had planned to offer seedless grapes for beginners, which had no stat-boosting effects and were simply tasty. But wouldn't Park Sejun get angry at that? Already being on Sejun's bad side once, Uncle decided to be careful. So he used a lot of divine power to hurriedly replace the prepared grapes with better ones. Of course, thanks to the large amount of divine power he received from the first competition, he wasn't running low. With this event, I will make up for all my mistakes with Park Sejun. The reward for this competition would be incredibly tasty grapes with great effects, so Uncle's confidence was sky-high. All right, since I'm in such a good mood, how about shouting Trust in Park together? Yeah, sounds good. All right, let's shout it until the competition begins. As the other non-combat gods responded to Uncle's suggestion, preparing to shout Trust in Park together. Kyungi, you're eating so much. Have you finally decided to bulk up and become a warrior? I got blocked again. They heard the frustrated cry of Thunder, the god of storms, who couldn't resist Bev's words to be patient and tried to talk to Kyungi, only to get blocked from beyond the wall. Should we do it later? Maybe, now that I think about it, I'm a bit thirsty. Let's go grab some water. The non-combat gods went to drink water and returned about 3 hours later. And then, Trust in Park, Trust in Park, Trust in Park, Trust in Park. They started chanting louder and louder, gauging the reactions from beyond the wall. Morning of the 4th day of the Harvest Festival. All right. Sejun, who had slept well again today, opened his eyes. Due to the blessing of a single stream of magic power, your magic power increases by 3 for 1 hour. Due to the blessing of a single stream of magic power, your magic power increases by 3 for 1 hour. Heze. My magic power is rising even though I'm doing nothing. The messages showing his rising magic power overnight made Sejun feel good. Others might have gained more, but for the sake of his mental health, Sejun didn't bother worrying about others' magic power. At that moment, feeling something heavy pressing on his chest, Sejun looked down. His shirt bulging as if about to tear on the right side, and Blackie, who had been pushed to Sejun's left chest, barely clinging on and drooling while sleeping. What is this? When Sejun looked inside his shirt. All-devouring jelly seed, 100 gulps. Wasn't it just 98 gulps and about the size of a golf ball yesterday? Now it had grown into a watermelon-sized all-devouring jelly seed, with its name and size having changed. Sejun quickly pulled the seed out from his shirt and checked its description. All-devouring jelly seed, 100 gulps. You can check the options after harvesting. It has swallowed water, honey, sugarcane juice, world tree sapling nutrient, and world tree mature tree nutrient. The seed's growth enthusiasm is extraordinary. Please plant it quickly before its motivation falters. What's world tree sapling nutrient and world tree mature tree nutrient? Sejun saw 2 types of items he hadn't fed it. Who fed it these? As Sejun was pondering, who might have fed the items he didn't. Master, you need to plant the seed quickly. Flamey urged Sejun. That's right, this isn't the time to be standing around. He needed to plant the seed before its will to grow diminished. Clank. Sejun hurriedly opened the void storage and went inside to plant the seed. You are a field LV. 8 activates. You have planted the all-devouring jelly seed into the body of Alice, the mesmerizing spider and 9th seat of the Apostle of Destruction. Crack. As soon as the seed was planted, a sprout rapidly shot up. The sprout thickened and quickly grew taller. Wow! In no time, it transformed into a 3-meter tall tree. And then, Tower Farmer Park Sejun of the Black Tower has achieved the great feat of sprouting a transcendence-grade seed for the first time. As a reward for achieving the great feat of creation, your stay fees on the 0th floor of the Black Tower are reduced by 5%. A message announcing his feat of creation appeared. Good, now the cost of going home has been reduced by 17%. Although he didn't plan on going home anytime soon since he had just recently been there, reducing the cost of visiting home was always good news. Huh? But what's that? Sejun's eyes caught sight of jelly-like objects, resembling ping-pong balls, hanging from the all-devouring jelly tree. Honey-flavored growth elixir jelly, watered-down world tree sapling nutrient jelly, carrot grape green onion jelly, and so on. The jellies came in various colors, combining ingredients Sejun had fed the seed. Most had 2 ingredients mixed, and occasionally some had 3. It doesn't use the same ingredients repeatedly. While examining the jellies, Sejun confirmed that there were no jellies containing the same ingredient. Plug. You have harvested black bean, medicinal mugwort sugarcane jelly. You're a field LV. 6 has been activated, dealing additional damage. Sejun checked the options of the black bean, medicinal mugwort sugarcane jelly he harvested. Black bean medicinal mugwort sugarcane jelly. A jelly made from transcendence black beans, +2, medicinal mugwort and sugarcane. Upon consumption, all stats increase by 50. Lifespan increases by 7.5 months. It is slightly sweet with a subtle bitterness. Expiration date, 7 days. Grade SS. Whoa! Sejun was astonished as he looked at the options. The effect of +20 to all stats and +3 months lifespan from the medicinal mugwort was increased by 2.5 times due to the transcendence black bean. The bitterness of the medicinal mugwort seemed to have been masked by the sweetness of the sugarcane, which had been enhanced by the transcendence black bean. Sejun immediately put the black bean medicinal mugwort sugarcane jelly into his mouth. Chew. True to its jelly nature, the texture was chewy, and the more he chewed, the sweeter it became. Gulp. You have consumed the black bean medicinal mugwort sugarcane jelly. All stats increase by 50. Your lifespan increases by 7.5 months. To think I could eat medicinal mugwort and not pass out. Overjoyed, Sejun was about to harvest more jellies when the second event of the Harvest Festival, the grape eating competition, will begin shortly. Participants who wish to join the competition, please gather in front of the bountiful grape cluster altar. A message appeared, announcing the start of the second event of the Harvest Festival. Chapter 475, Bring Them All. 82nd floor of the Silver Tower. Woo-wash. As always, no, even stronger than before, fierce winds blew across the barren wasteland, where a single, emaciated grapevine stood. You are our hope. Quinn, the tower farmer of the Silver Tower, said while gently stroking the grapevine. Thanks to Quinn's ability, only a soft breeze blew around the grapevine. Quinn was protecting the grapevine from the wind, just in case. Quinn, the wind sorcerer of the Wind Tribe. Quinn was born with an overwhelming talent even among the Wind Tribe, who were known for their control of wind. He was called the one who commands the wind. Because of this talent, he was arrogant and overly confident in his abilities. And then, "Wind, hear my command." On the day, he boldly stepped forward to control the wind of the Silver Tower. Quinn had to pay a heavy price for his arrogance. Instead of controlling the fierce winds of the Silver Tower, Quinn's mind was devoured by them, and he went mad. For decades, Quinn wandered the tower as a madman, earning the name Mad Wind Quinn for his bizarre antics. If he hadn't caught the attention of Chrysella Hisron, the great silver dragon, who was searching for a new tower farmer after the previous one died, Quinn would have continued wandering as a madman until he eventually became one with the wind. The reason Chrysella chose Quinn, even going as far as restoring his sanity, was because he was the one who handled the wind best in the tower. The Silver Tower, constantly battered by powerful winds due to the silver dragon's strength, needed someone who could weaken the winds. And so, the winds strong enough to bore holes into stones with sand were already in a weakened state, thanks to Quinn's power. If Quinn hadn't been able to control the wind, there might not have been any ground left in the Silver Tower. The winds would have swept even the land away. The sole mission of the Silver Tower's tower farmer was to weaken the wind. Farming wasn't even a consideration. Then, rumble. The ground trembled slightly, and a stone shaped like a cluster of grapes rose before the grapevine. And then, the second event of the Harvest Festival, the grape-eating competition, will begin shortly. Participants who wish to join the competition, please gather in front of the bountiful grape cluster altar. A message appeared. Time left to register for the competition: 3 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds. The time in front of the altar began to count down. "All right, everyone gather at the altar." When Quinn shouted, "Boom! Wind halt, everyone run towards the altar." Woo! Massive boulders lifted, and over 100 million residents who had been hiding underground rushed towards the altar, following the paths created by the wind sorcerers of the Wind Tribe. And the number of participants in the grape-eating competition began to increase rapidly. As Sejun approached the altar to register for the grape-eating competition, "Kyung, good morning, Dad." Kyungi greeted him. "Yeah, good morning. Did you already register, Kyungi?" Kyung. "I did, Dad. Hurry and register too." "All right." When Sejun stood in front of the altar, time left to register for the competition: 3 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds. Current number of registrations: Black Tower 99th floor, 11,887. Black Tower 4th floor, 3,214. Silver Tower 82nd floor, 70,049. A message appeared. 82nd floor of the Silver Tower. Do they have grapevines there too? The overwhelming number of participants from the 82nd floor of the Silver Tower was surprising, but Sejun didn't pay it much mind. After all, the first place will be ours anyway, heh. As Sejun laughed wickedly. "Meow, Chairman Park, your face is getting ugly again, meow. I, Vice Chairman Theo, cannot allow such a ugly face standing next to Aileen Nuna, meow." Squeeze. Theo immediately took action to suppress Sejun. MMPH. You have registered for the grape-eating competition." As Sejun received a massage from Theo and completed the registration with his companions, he turned around to head back home. Sejun noticed that the raccoon market had grown larger than the day before. Word had spread about the massive scale of the Harvest Festival on the 99th floor of the Black Tower, and more raccoons had gathered. As a result, about 50 new street vendors had joined the raccoon market. Unfortunately, none of the new vendors sold food that Sejun was particularly excited about. Most of them were selling things Sejun had recently eaten or already had stored in his void storage. How much for this grilled skewer? That doesn't mean he wasn't going to buy and eat them, though. Sejun, along with his companions, eagerly bought and ate the food from the raccoons who had started their stalls early in the morning. After having breakfast from the street vendors and strolling around to digest a bit. Registration for the competition has closed. Participants, please gather below the altar with the bountiful grape cluster altar. The grape-eating competition will begin in 1 minute. The registration period ended, and as Sejun and the other participants gathered under the altar, the competition will now begin. With a message announcing the start of the competition, a huge basket full of grapes appeared before each participant. Just by glancing, it was clear that there were well over 1,000 grapes. Chomp! Chomp! As soon as the competition started, the favorites for the win, Kyungi, Pink Fur, Minotaur King, and Urin, began shoveling entire baskets of grapes into their mouths. In the past, Kyungi had lost to Pink Fur and Minotaur King because of his small mouth, but now, having grown enough, there was no chance of that happening again. Then, gulp! Chomp! Kyungi, without even chewing, swallowed the grapes in one go and immediately grabbed the second basket, pouring them into his mouth. It was impossible, even for Kyungi, to swallow such a large number of grapes without chewing. However, crunch! Using telekinesis, Kyungi crushed the grapes in his mouth, making them easier to swallow. This first place belongs to Kyungi. As if to make up for his defeat in the last carrot-eating competition, Kyungi's eating speed was overwhelming. Thanks to his quick pace, Kyungi began to widen the gap between himself and Pink Fur, Minotaur King, and Urin. Alright, this is doable. Watching Kyungi, Sejun felt a surge of confidence. Of course, he wasn't talking about competing with the top contenders. Moo! Moo! He was thinking about the black minotaurs. In the past, he wouldn't have dared to compete with them. But now, things were different. Sejun had a perfect plan. Crop miniaturization. Sejun quickly used his skill on the grapes, reducing their size by 20%. And then, chomp! He grabbed a handful of grapes, stuffed them into his mouth, and chewed rapidly. Delicious. It was the same flavor of grapes he usually harvested from Pottery's vines. He wanted to savor the taste, but there was no time for that. Chomp chomp. Tui. He spit out only the seeds he could and swallowed everything else. Since the top contenders would finish all the grapes before he got full, there was no need to pace himself. Crop miniaturization. So Sejun focused on eating as quickly as possible. After about 5 minutes into the competition, Kyung! Chomp chomp! Kyungi emptied his 11th basket and finally began to chew the grapes. From the 11th basket onward, the grape sizes increased to make it harder to swallow without chewing. The basket contained 100 grapes, each the size of a watermelon. Roar! Moo! Kyuiga! Soon, Pink Fur, Minotaur King, and Urin also began to empty their 11th baskets. It looks like it's almost over. The grapes were about to run out. Crop miniaturization, vitality. Seeing this, Sejun also picked up the pace for the final sprint. Combining crop miniaturization and vitality could possibly place him within the top 50 if he was lucky. However, why isn't it over yet? Contrary to Sejun's expectations, Kyungi had just emptied his 41st basket, while Pink Fur, Minotaur King, and Urin had finished their 39th baskets, and yet the grapes kept coming. For reference, in the previous carrot-eating competition, the competition ended when Pink Fur and Minotaur King reached their 25th basket. What was going on? Crop miniaturization, vitality. Since Sejun could still eat, he continued, albeit puzzled, as he munched on more grapes to keep up. I'm full. I can't eat anymore. One by one, the people around him started giving up. 1 hour later. I can't eat anymore. Eventually, even Sejun, who had been enduring with his skills, raised the white flag at the 10th basket. Though his crop miniaturization skill had leveled up to 2, reducing the crop size by 25%, he was just too full. Kyung! Roar! Moo! Kyuiga! The top contenders like Kyungi and the others were still eating at the same pace as they started. Moo! Even the black minotaurs, though slightly slower, were steadily consuming grapes. In a flash, Sejun dropped out of the top 1,000 and quickly fell out of the top 500,000. Why do the grapes keep coming? While Sejun was growing frustrated at the endlessly spawning grapes. Seed shop headquarters. Why are there so many participants? We're already running out of grapes. Uncle, who was watching the rapidly depleting grape supply, was in a panic. Even though he had prepared an enormous amount of grapes for the competition, the overwhelming number of participants from the Silver Tower, over 100 million, meant the grapes were being consumed quickly. To replenish the grapes required divine power, so Uncle was tempted to end the competition early. If the competition ends because we run out of grapes, Sejun will be disappointed, right? I can't disappoint the Trustin Park. Grapes grow. In order to avoid disappointing Sejun, Uncle, the god of grapevines, continued to work hard, producing more grapes. As a result, the residents of the Silver Tower, as well as Kyungi, Pinkfur, Minotaur King, and Urin, were all thrilled. All right, time to get to work. When Sejun left the competition area. As a reward for participating in the grape-eating competition, you have received 290 Harvest Festival commemorative grapes. 290 firm grapes appeared in Sejun's hand. Wow, that's a lot, so based on what I ate. Sejun calculated how many grapes he had eaten. Since there were about 3,000 grapes in one basket, it seemed that for every 100 grapes eaten, he received one Harvest Festival commemorative grape. Great, Vice Chairman Theo, let's start the business. Hut got it, meow. At Sejun's words, Theo, who had been hanging onto Sejun's lap throughout the competition, pulled a table and signboard out of his bag. You can exchange Harvest Festival commemorative grapes for crops here. They began to collect Harvest Festival commemorative grapes in exchange for crops. 30 hours after the competition began. Kyungi can't eat anymore. For the first time since the competition started, Kyungi put down his basket. The last participant has given up on eating grapes. The grape-eating competition has ended. Finally, the competition was over. Grape-eating competition rankings. First, Kyungi Park, 12,500 baskets. Second, Pinkfur, 12,450 baskets. Third, Minotaur King, 12,400 baskets. Fourth, Urin, 12,300 baskets. Rank 1,003,131. Sejun Park, 9 baskets plus 230 grapes. Rank 130, 1,871,213. Theo Park, 0 grapes. Sejun kept getting pushed back in ranking, and eventually ended up outside the top 1 million. But there are still 130 million below me. It's important to treasure what you have, rather than lament what you don't. Sejun felt quite satisfied knowing there were over 100 million people ranked below him. And then, meow meow meow. Theo, a lover of fish, didn't mind finishing last in the grape-eating competition at all since he only participated to stay on Sejun's lap. By the way, Blackie, who had stubbornly insisted on joining the competition, was at home enjoying dried sweet potato chips with his subordinates before falling asleep. Rewards for first to 100th place in the grape-eating competition are now being distributed. In the meantime, the rewards began to be handed out. Kyung. These are for Dad to get stronger. Kyungi, who had become small again, suddenly ran to Sejun and handed over 10 golden grapes he received as the first place reward. Kyungi, thank you. Kyung. Eat these and become stronger. Okay. Golden grape, infused with the energy of the world. A grape created by gathering the energy of the world through the earnest prayers of Uncle, the god of grapevines. It has no seeds, making it easy to eat. The flavor is excellent, with a rich and fragrant aroma of grapes. Upon consumption, All stats increase by 10. For every 100 grapes consumed, the energy of the world gathers, causing a miracle to occur nearby. Expiration date, 180 days. Grade SS. Oh. The taste was better, and the stat increase was higher compared to previous rewards. Plus, a miracle. Park Sejun, the man who makes miracles. Heh, sounds cool, doesn't it? The description of miracle happening after consuming 100 grapes piqued Sejun's interest. Having checked the options of the golden grape infused with the energy of the world, Sejun felt even more motivated. You guys seem awfully suspicious. Sejun noticed that his companions, who would normally have already brought him their rewards, were hesitating with their prizes in hand. Two thoughts crossed his mind simultaneously. The first was, as expected, Kyungi is such a filial child. The second was, so they really did give me all the stuff before because they were bad tasting. These, Sejun, feeling betrayed, went into a frenzy. Bring them all. He roared and started collecting the rewards from the grape-eating competition. Chapter 476. It's because I was too embarrassed. Everyone did a great job. Sejun, who had snatched all the golden grapes infused with the energy of the world from the top 100 rankers of the grape-eating competition, patted the heads of Theo and Kyungi who had helped him, praising them. Though snatched might be a bit of an exaggeration. Kyung. That's Dad. Kyungi is giving it to Dad. In Sejun's frenzy, Kyungi went on a rampage too, and threw a tantrum to Pink Fur and the Minotaur King. If you give it to me, I'll lay down grass for you. Pew hut. The grass laid by Chairman Park will surely be delicious, meow. Hurry up and hand it over, meow. In exchange for laying down a grass field, both Park Theo and Sejun managed to get golden grapes infused with the energy of the world from the top-ranked black minotaurs. Thanks to that, he laid grass on 990,000 square meters of land in an hour, and Sejun's laying grass skill leveled up to 4, allowing him to lay grass 20 cm high over an area of 132 square meters at once. Urine handed over, meow. That belongs to our Chairman Park, meow. Of course, from Urine, they truly just took it. After collecting all the rewards from the grape-eating contest like that, the three of them, Hazeli, Pew Hut, Q sat in front of the shop that exchanged crops for Harvest Festival commemorative grapes, laughing happily. They're all mine. Sejun was happy, having collected 300 golden grapes infused with the energy of the world. Pew Hut, I'm happy just being on Chairman Park's lap, meow. Theo was just happy to be on Sejun's lap. Dad will get stronger now. Kyungi will make Dad as strong as Kyungi. Kyungi, dreaming an impossible dream, was happy believing that his frail dad would become a little stronger. Kyung. Dad, hurry and eat to get stronger. All right. Num. You have consumed a golden grape, infused with the energy of the world. All stats increase by 10. The energy of the world gathers slightly. With Kyungi's encouragement, Sejun began eating the golden grapes infused with the energy of the world. Stamina 40, 197 4197. He ate until his stamina stat matched his potential. Most of his other stats were already at their potential with just eating 2-3 grapes, so there was no need to eat more since it would be inefficient. Like that, Sejun had eaten 65 of the golden grapes so far, with 35 left to trigger a miracle. After a while, Sejun Nim, hello, we are here to exchange crops. Here are 5,500 Harvest Festival commemorative grapes. A group of 100 silver foxes approached, exchanging 5,500 crates of vitality-infused fragrant grapes. Sejun Nim, hello, we'd like to exchange for sweet potatoes. The red foxes also came to Sejun. All right, since it's 7,000 grapes, here are 7,000 sacks of sweet potatoes. Sejun Nim, I'm your loyal full-time employee Baeon. This morning I swept the yard and Baeyeon rambled on about the tasks he had done that day, trying to get more food. Got it here, 50 kg of slime meat, satisfied. Yes, thank you. I'll continue to serve you diligently. Knowing that Baeyeon was providing for his subordinates in the Brown Tower, Sejun gladly gave him extra food. He's kinder than he looks. That's enough. Make sure you're not late for dinner. Yes. Baeyeon, after securing the 7,000 sacks of sweet potatoes and 50 kg of slime meat, left in a hurry, guarding the surroundings with his subordinates. Not just the silver foxes and red foxes, but other foxes were also trying not to touch the food they exchanged with Sejun as much as possible. It was to feed their families when they returned home. After the foxes and other participants flocked to exchange crops, and the crowd thinned out. All right, I guess it's time for me to make an exchange too. Sejun approached the exchange shop at the bountiful grape cluster altar. And then, do you want to exchange 100 million Harvest Festival commemorative grapes for a grape seed containing the world tree? Yes. Using 100 million out of the 130 million Harvest Festival commemorative grapes he had collected, Sejun exchanged them for a grape seed that radiated a brilliant purple light. Grape seed containing the world tree. As soon as the grape seed containing the world tree appeared in Sejun's hand, a quest has been generated. Job quest. The current environment of the Silver Tower is unsuitable for farming due to strong winds. Plant the grape seed containing the world tree in the Silver Tower to weaken the wind. Reward: 50 billion tower coins, all stats plus 130 drops of growth elixir, 1 drop of the great growth elixir, 1 job talent. A quest message appeared before Sejun. Go to the Silver Tower. Going there wouldn't be difficult if I have a land deed, but the reward was too good. The great growth elixir, which seemed superior to the regular growth elixir, and the job talent, something that had never been offered as a reward before, were particularly tempting. It felt suspiciously like the reward was designed to send him to the Silver Tower, no matter what. I'm not falling for it. Excessive kindness is always a cause for suspicion. Sejun decided to hold off on the quest until he was sure the environment in the Silver Tower was safe. Just then, growl. Kyungi, who was hanging from Sejun's waist, had his belly grumble loudly. The sound was so loud that Sejun could feel the vibration. Kyungi, you ate 12,500 baskets of grapes just 3 hours ago, even though it's dinner time. As Sejun looked at Kyungi with astonished eyes. Kyungi, feeling a bit embarrassed, scratched his head and gave an awkward laugh. It's okay, you need to eat a lot to grow big, all right. Since you guys helped me out today and worked hard, we'll have a special meal tonight. Sejun declared grandly and headed to the kitchen. Shortly after, Pew Hut, it's a super giant grilled fish, meow, I'm so excited, meow. Kyung, it's a huge meat rice bowl. Sejun brought out an extra large grilled fish and a massive meat rice bowl served in a 1-meter wide black pot and handed them to the two. And then, glare. This is what happens when you betray me. Scary, isn't it? In front of Pinkfur, Urin, and the others, Sejun placed regular-sized pots filled with meat rice bowls, glaring at them as a warning. These portions were noticeably smaller than Kyungi's. Of course, Sejun only made eye contact with Pinkfur for about 0.001 seconds. Thus, Sejun issued a petty warning through the size of the food. After finishing dinner, Uncle Nim, thank you, land moving. Sejun moved Uncle Rayod next to the Creator God's tablet and expanded its size to 66 square meters, and also erected an achievement monument. Uncle's Achievement Monument. Uncle, the god of grapevines, who made our journey to Earth easier with the grapevine bracelet of sealing. He was a decent god. Smooth operation of the grape-eating competition. The reason for the monument was because Uncle ensured the supply of grapes didn't run out during the competition. At first, Sejun had been annoyed that the grapes never depleted, But thanks to that, the contestants ate plenty and earned a lot of Harvest Festival commemorative grapes. And because the participants came to Sejun to exchange their grapes, Sejun was able to secure a lot of the Harvest Festival commemorative grapes. Moreover, he liked the reward, the golden grapes infused with the energy of the world. By the time he finished erecting the achievement monument, the sky had turned dark. All right, let's go to bed, guys. Got it, meow. Kyung. Good night, Dad. F whoosh. Kyungi, using his telekinesis, floated into Sejun's arms. Yeah, you too, Kyungi, sleep well. Sejun hugged Kyungi tightly and said good night. Uncle Nim will be satisfied with this, right? Sejun glanced back at Uncle's achievement monument one more time before heading inside to sleep. Seed Shop headquarters. As the grape-eating competition ended and the settlement began. The grape-eating competition has ended. A total of 131,450,000 people participated in the grape-eating competition. You have gained 13,145,000 divine power. A total of 13,150,000 divine power was used to create grapes for the grape-eating competition. 5000 divine power will be taken away. A message appeared. In an effort not to disappoint Park Sejun, Uncle had diligently worked on producing grapes, only to find that his efforts resulted in a net loss. On top of that, when considering the divine power spent to create the golden grapes infused with the energy of the world for the reward. I'm ruined. As Uncle despaired. Uncle, you lack faith. Do not doubt the trust in Park. Yeah, do you think you can get an achievement monument with such shallow belief? Believe. Believe strongly. Then one day that trust in Park will get you a monument. Lee, the god of abundance, and Luna, the god of moonlight, who had both received achievement monuments from Sejun, scolded Uncle for his despair. And then, trust in Park. Trust in Park. Trust in Park. Lee, Luna, and the non-combat gods around them began chanting the slogan enthusiastically. Trust in Park. As Uncle joined the other non-combat gods in chanting the slogan. That's right, don't lose faith. If I invest in Park Sejun, good days will come. Before he knew it, the despair was gone and hopeful feelings surged. At that moment, Park Sejun, the tower farmer of the Black Tower, has rebuilt your temple in a new, larger and higher location. Your divine power increases by 150. The Black Tower's strongest, Black Minotaur Ox Demon King, has witnessed your temple. Your divine power increases by 100. Crimson Giant Bear Pinkfur of the Black Tower has witnessed your temple. Your divine power increases by 10. 50. 000 Calamity Guardian Destruction Devourers have witnessed your temple. Your divine power increases by 500. Flash. A radiant light burst forth from Uncle's body as his divine power rapidly increased. Theo Park, the legendary merchant of the Black Tower, has witnessed your temple. Theo Park, the legendary merchant of the Black Tower, steals 0.01 divine power from you. There was a brief message about Theo stealing some of Uncle's divine power, but it was quickly buried beneath other messages. Flash. Following that, radiant light also shone from the bodies of Lee and Luna, as their achievement monuments were located in similar areas. Look, the sight of being rewarded for faith and trust in Park. Trust in Park. Trust in Park. Trust in Park. The chants of the non-combat gods grew even more fervent. Early the next morning. Kahili Kayang Kayang. Hee, great. Everyone has finished preparing the gift items for the butler, right? Blackie, who had gone to bed early and woke up early, asked his subordinates. Of course, I made mine a while ago and had it hidden away. Responding to Blackie's question, Iamdal reached into the Creator God's tablet and pulled out a black dalsot stone pot. The stone from this tablet is very sturdy and has excellent heat retention. Iamdal tapped the Creator God's tablet with a bright smile. Kaying. Great Eamdal passes, next is G. Gomi. K. Kurug. At Blackie's words, G. Gomi confidently pulled out a full-body suit that was folded dozens of times from her chest. K. Kurug. It's a camouflage suit with a wearing sensation that doesn't feel like you're wearing anything, and the ability to change to match the surrounding environment. Of course, I made sure to include basic defense to protect the frail Sejun Nim. Kaying. Excellent. G. Gomi also passes. Next is K. Kabai. Shallering. What I prepared is over there. K. Kabai stepped forward, leading the way while Blackie and the subordinates followed. The place they arrived at was the brewery. Shallering. I've aged these wines to be even more delicious. They've even gained additional abilities, so Sejun Nim will surely like them. K. Kabai proudly pointed at the jars where golden Samyanju was aging. Kaying. Good. K. Kabai also passes. Next, Karurur. It's Jackie's turn next. Karurur, objecting to Blackie's command, protested. Kaying. Quiet. Jackie is making 1 kg of amethyst every day for the butler. Just show your gift. Whack. Of course, Karurur received a smack to the back of his head for his defiance. I picked this up on the way. Karurur shyly pulled out a red orb from his arms. Kaying. This is an orb of death energy. That's right. Karurur, true to his nature as the crow of death, collected the surrounding death energy and crafted an orb infused with the energy of death. The orb of death energy can be used for various functions, but the most notable being its ability to warn the holder when death is approaching. Kaying. Good. It's a perfect fit for our frail butler. Karurur, you pass too. HMPH, of course I pass. Feeling proud after receiving Blackie's approval, Karurur lifted his head arrogantly. But then, Kaying. But wait, you're the one who makes these. So what do you mean you picked it up? Did you lie to me? Kokao. No, that's. Karurur was scolded for lying. It's because I was too embarrassed. Being embarrassed, Karurur couldn't possibly admit the truth. Chapter 477. Butler, quickly praise me. Just come out already. We need to defeat it quickly to go back. The dragons of the 4 Dragon Council, who were still on standby, sighed as they stared at the black moon. Soon, the grape wine drinking competition would begin. Everyone was anxious because of the grape wine drinking competition. Of course, it wasn't because of the wine itself. No matter how good the wine provided at the competition was, it couldn't compare to the grape wine that Sejun had made himself. The reason for their anxiousness was something else. What if Sejun gets in a good mood and starts handing out golden Samyanju to everyone? And what if they weren't there when that happened? That absolutely can't happen. Just thinking about it made the dragons of 4 Dragon Council burn with anger, and their throats dry up. Anyone just come out. Please come out. I'll burn everything down. Come out already. As 4 Dragon Council, with fire in their eyes, searched for the enemy. Kugung. A gigantic snake was seen wandering around the outskirts of destruction. Where has that Halfaz guy gone? With Halfaz, who was leading the destruction of the world, having disappeared, the speed of destroying the world slowed down. Finding this strange, Jormungandr was on his way to find out what was going on by searching for Halfaz. And then, if we just defeat you, we can go drink. We'll defeat you and head back. The moment 4 Dragon Council members spotted Jormungandr, they quickly ate Sejun's bean set and shouted. The 3rd apostle of destruction, Jormungandr, the world-devouring serpent, you're the one who opened the black moon. It's definitely your fault. Take my breath attack. It's all because of you. Qwu. They began to attack Jormungandr. It's the apostle of destruction. Attack Jormungandr. Following that, the remaining leaders and the dragons of the 9 dragon tribes also ate the bean set and attacked Jormungandr. Of course, the quantity of bean sets was limited, but thanks to having bought some from Aileen and securing some on credit beforehand, about 10% of the dragons had a bean set. What seal release? With the overwhelming number of dragons attacking, Jormungandr hurriedly released his seal. Since there were so many dragons, he immediately unsealed up to the 5th stage and shed 5 layers of skin at once. Crack! In an instant, Jormungandr shed 5 layers of skin and grew several dozen times larger, with 6 pairs of eyes staring down. You will pay the price for daring to attack me. Jormungandr opened his mouth wide, rushing forward to devour the dragons. However, Q-woo, Q-woo, Ahi. The dragons' collective breath attack were incredibly fierce. All right. Sejun, who had woken up, opened his eyes and, as usual, reached out to grab Blackie, who would normally be sleeping on his chest. But, he's not here. What he touched was Blackie's soft fur, but his own firm chest toned by farming. Where did he go? Sejun sat up and looked around. But, Gorarong, Kurarong. All he could see were Theo and Iona, still fast asleep. Maybe he went to his secret storage again. Meow. Sejun picked up Theo and placed him on his knee. SHH. After getting up, Sejun marked the date on the wall and carefully opened the window. Since Blackie wanted to keep the secret storage hidden, Sejun planned to secretly check without being noticed. So he peeked through the slightly opened window to look at Blackie's secret storage, located on both sides of the Creator God's tablet. But he wasn't there. Blackie was nowhere to be seen. At that moment, Kaying. Good, the butler will wake up soon, so everyone get into position. Sejun heard Blackie's barking from the door on the lower left, directing his subordinates. What's going on? What are they preparing? As Sejun looked toward the door to figure out what was going on. Kakilahit Kaying. Hey, the butler will like this when he sees these, right? Of course, he'll definitely like it. Kurug. Shallering. He's going to love it for sure. Ko. Blackie and his subordinates stood in a line, facing the door, as if preparing for something. At the center, of course, stood Blackie, the leader, flanked on his left and right by K. Kabai, Jackie, Iamdal, and G. Gomi. Karurur, who had been idly standing in the back, suddenly perked up. Kaying. Karurur, aren't you coming? When Blackie raised his front paw threateningly, only then did Karurur hesitantly stand next to Blackie. Karurur subtly tried to stand in the center with Blackie. Kaying. Move. Of course, Blackie immediately disciplined Karurur for daring to try to be co-center with him and put him behind himself. With that, the formation was complete. Q-ham. It didn't even take a minute before Blackie yawned. After all, he'd been bustling around since early dawn. Soon, Blackie and his subordinates began yawning in turns and started nodding off. At this rate, they wouldn't be able to do what they'd prepared. Sejun was too curious about what Blackie had prepared, so thump thump. He deliberately made loud footsteps to wake up Blackie and his subordinates. And then, screech, as he opened the door. Kaying. Tada, butler, these are gifts for you. My subordinates made them. Blackie barked proudly in front of the items his subordinates had created. Oh. Sejun was originally planning to just pretend to be surprised at Blackie's surprise, but Iamdal's sturdy dalsat, durable spider silk camouflage suit, well-aged golden samyanju, orb of death's energy. These are real items. He hadn't seen the items in front of Blackie through the window slit earlier, so he was genuinely surprised. Iamdal's sturdy dalsat. A dalsat made by Iamdal, who used to be Kruger, 7th seat of the Apostle of Destruction, the destroyer of mountains, using the Creator God's tablet. Since it was made from the Creator God's tablet, a portion of the power of creation is imbued in the dalsat. When cooking with this dalsat, the food becomes even more delicious, and the abilities of the ingredients are amplified. A creation of a mythical level being, showing abilities equivalent to divine relics. Creator Iamdal. Usage restriction. Park Sejun, Tower Farmer of the Black Tower. Grade. Skill Time Acceleration Master. Time Acceleration Master. Accelerates time with magic power to shorten cooking time to within 1 minute. The longer the cooking time of the food, the more magic power is consumed. Durable Spider Silk Camouflage Suit. A suit made by G. Gomi, who used to be Alice, the mesmerizing spider and ninth seed of the Apostles of Destruction, using her own spider silk. The suit is reinforced with dozens of layers of highly elastic spider silk, providing strong defense. It disperses external impact and energy, reducing damage. A creation of a mythical level being, showing abilities equivalent to divine relics. Creator G. Gomi. Usage restriction. Park Sejun, Tower Farmer of the Black Tower. Grade. Skill Camouflage Master. Camouflage Master. Consumes magic power to camouflage the body, to be indistinguishable from the surrounding environment. If the environment is complex or rapidly changing, the camouflage may become less effective. Well-aged Golden Samyeonju. Golden Samyeonju, originally made by Park Sejun, the Tower Farmer of the Black Tower, and further aged by K. Kabai, who used to be Delia, the demon of corruption and eighth seed apostle of destruction, using the power of decay. As it is aged well, the alcohol content increased. When consumed, it activates a powerful curse-dispelling effect and amplifies magic power by 1000% for 1 minute. If consumed by a being with divinity, divine power increases by 100. The aroma is so sweet, and the taste so deep that it could enchant even gods. Chefs Park Sejun, Tower Farmer of the Black Tower K. Kabai. Usage restriction. Beings with 1 million or more magic power or those possessing divinity. Expiration date, 1000. Grade. Orb of Death's Energy. An orb created by Karurur, who used to be Halfas, the crow of death and second seed of the Apostles of Destruction, by gathering the energy of death. The orb reacts sensitively to death due to the concentrated death energy within. It informs the owner of the fate of impending death. It absorbs the owner's death energy, stopping them from aging and keeping them away from death. A creation of a creation-level being, showing powers far superior to divine relics. Creator Karura. Usage restriction. Park Sejun, Tower Farmer of the Black Tower. Grade. Skill Harvester of Death Master. Harvester of Death Master. Summons the Scythe of Death to instantly kill enemies in front. The more magic power consumed, the larger and more powerful the Scythe of Death summoned. Well, after checking the item options, Sejun couldn't close his mouth for a long time. He had dismissed all those exorcised by Blackie as insignificant, especially since they had transformed into something too cute to take seriously. But as expected of an apostle of destruction, their former abilities had not faded. Each item had excellent options, all possessing abilities greater than divine relics, with at least 3 stars each. In particular, the Orb of Death's energy was extraordinary. It had 5 stars with creation-level grade that even surpassed divine relics. This was the first time Sejun had seen a 5-star item since Theo's legendary item, the Bag of the Legendary Merchant Wandering the 9 Towers. Thanks to this, Sejun realized just how impressive Theo's legendary merchant item was. But to think that Karurur was the second seed of the Apostle of Destruction, Halfas, the Crow of Death. Sejun was somewhat shocked that Karurur, who made the Orb of Death's energy, had once been Halfas. Kayatham Kaying. Ahem, Butler quickly praised me. Sejun didn't even realize that Fenrir, the god-hunting noble wolf and the first apostle of destruction, was wagging his tail furiously in front of him, eagerly awaiting praise. Guys, thank you. I'll make good use of these. as Sejun patted and praised Blackie, the leader first, followed by Blackie's subordinates. Step, step. Even Karoror subtly edged closer to make it easier for Sejun to pat him. Aren't you all tired? Let's sleep while eating this. Sejun placed Blackie and his subordinates into his sling bag and gave them a generous amount of roasted and dried sweet potatoes. Normally, Sejun didn't allow them to eat before bed, but today was an exception. He permitted them to eat while they slept. Kay kilahid. Chomp chomp. Kai rorung. Iamrarung. Kay kurarung. Shararung. Kararung. Excitedly munching on the roasted and dried sweet potato a few times, Blackie and his subordinates soon fell asleep, each hugging a piece of the sweet potato. Pong! Sejun played around by popping the bubbles forming on Blackie's nose as he snored, then began preparing breakfast. A short while later. Pew Hut, Chairman Park, I'll be heading to the Green Tower for a bit today, meow. After breakfast, Theo was getting ready for work. Why? You can relax until the harvest festival ends. No, meow, I need to go maintain discipline, meow. I'll be off now, meow. With that, Theo opened his wandering merchant's bag and teleported to the Green Tower. The place Theo arrived at wasn't the first floor of the Green Tower, but the 42nd floor. The wandering merchant's bag, Theo's legendary item, randomly changed the location it could go to every 30 days. Today, the location was the 42nd floor of the Green Tower. It was a stroke of luck for Theo, who hadn't yet finished his business in the Green Tower. Of course, it was unfortunate for the beings in the Green Tower who had to keep seeing Theo, but as soon as Theo arrived at the 42nd floor of the tower, he neatly organized the surroundings, called the legendary merchants Turbo and Shark here to receive reports, and he also called the immortal clan trolls to move the crops he had brought for Sejun's shop on the first floor of the tower. Naturally, the auction took place on the 42nd floor. And today was the day to receive reports from the legendary merchants. That's why, even though Sejun had told him to rest, Theo insisted on coming to the Green Tower. If he didn't get the reports today, the merchants might slack off until the next reporting day. But that was just an excuse to tell Sejun. I can't lose to Blackie, meow. I'll bring a gift that'll make Chairman Park happy too, meow. The real reason Theo had come here was because of Sejun's joy at receiving Blackie's gift in the morning. As soon as Theo arrived. Dada. Welcome, Vice Chairman Theo. Welcome. Turbo and Shark, who had been waiting in advance, rushed over to Theo and began their reports. Vice Chairman Theo, I've obtained 3 land deeds. Hawk, full-time employee Turbo, you've brought 2 fewer land deeds than last time, meow. Do you want me to take away your legendary merchant item, meow? I am sorry. I'll work harder next time and bring back 5 land deeds. At Theo's threat, Turbo shouted frantically. Good, meow. I'll be watching you, meow. With that, Theo collected the 3 land deeds from Turbo. And what did full-time employee Shark bring, meow? Looking at Shark, he asked. I've brought 2 green orbs of life. Shark proudly pulled out 2 green orbs. Pew Hut. Excellent work, full-time employee Shark, meow. If you keep working hard, I'll get Helnim to give you a legendary merchant item, meow. Thank you. After receiving the reports from Turbo and Shark. It's not enough, meow. Theo didn't think Sejun would be as happy with these gifts as he had been earlier in the day. So, Chairman Park, please lend me your strength, meow. Theo prayed earnestly to Sejun, asking for help, and Theo's prayer was answered today as well. Twitch. Theo suddenly felt a powerful pull in his front paw. Chapter 478. Now shall I create a miracle. Pew Hut, quickly lead me to the pole, meow. As Theo let his body follow the pull and moved his front paws. Chug. His front paws moved above his head. But, meow. Do I have to go to the sky, meow? The place his paws pointed to was the sky above. If the pull is pointing to the sky, of course I'll go to the sky, meow. Even though Theo couldn't fly, he boldly jumped towards the sky. Naturally, gravity should bring him back down to the ground, but extreme meow step meow. Pababek. Theo used his meow step to its extreme, stepping on the air and beginning to run toward the sky. I'll give Chairman Park an amazing gift and get praised, meow. In the mind of the fanatic Theo, who had the goal of being praised by Sejun, negative words like fear, impossible, and limits had been erased long ago. Theo simply ran with all his might, doing his best, repeating a cycle of falling and rising. But since his rise was greater than his fall, Theo kept getting closer to the sky. An hour later, there it is, meow. Theo began to see the silhouette of a massive land floating in the sky. A little while later, I've arrived, meow. After climbing for another 30 minutes, Theo finally set his paws down on the land. It was hard, meow. As Theo sat down to rest for a moment, you have achieved the feat of reaching the sky with only your body, without any flying abilities. You have obtained the title, Sky Runner. A message appeared before Theo. Thanks to the title, he gained the ability to receive a stronger drag from the air while stepping on empty space. Pew Hut. As expected, Chairman Park is great, meow. I came to get a gift for Chairman Park and even got a title, meow. Theo, energized, attributed his newly acquired title to Sejun. Time to move, meow. He dashed toward where the pool was leading him. As Theo ran toward the pool, he saw a vast wasteland and far in the distance, a dazzling building. Meow, this is the place where Chairman Park got his shoes before, meow. Theo finally realized that he had arrived at the location where Emila Ibens, the first apostle of the Creator God, resided. And that time, Chairman Park was really regretful, meow. He recalled Sejun's regret at not being able to collect the crops from the garden, due to suddenly falling asleep. Pew Hut, this time I'll collect a lot, meow. As Theo resolved to gather plenty of crops from Emila's garden. Welcome, Theo Park, the legendary merchant of the Black Tower. An emerald-haired, beautiful woman suddenly blocked Theo's path. Who are you, meow? If you have something good, hand it over, meow. I feel the pull, meow. Theo, unable to look at the woman properly due to the blinding golden light radiating from her, squinted his eyes and shouted. Fu, I am Emila Ibens, the first apostle of the Creator God. I've been waiting for you, Theo. I knew you would come looking for me. Emila smiled as she responded to Theo. Meow, what are you talking about, meow? This body is not a simple cat whose actions can be easily predicted, meow. Of course, you're unpredictable, but I was preparing something for Park Sejun, so I knew you would come. That's what I meant. Pew Hut, naturally, meow. I Vice Chairman Theo always take care of Chairman Park's gifts, meow. Theo's mood quickly improved at the acknowledgement. Then hurry up and give me Chairman Park's gift, meow. Excited to quickly deliver the gift to Sejun, Theo wagged his tail and urged Emila. Here, take this. Emila handed over 2 golden items to Theo. Meow, what's this, meow? It looks somewhat lacking, meow. Theo asked as he tried on the items, which looked like leather on the outside and fabric on the inside, resembling arm sleeves, and slipped them onto his front paws. These are good things. When combined with the shoes I gave to Park Sejun, they transform into boots. Is it good if they transform into boots, meow? Of course, I worked hard to make them. Emila raised her voice unintentionally, in response to Theo's suspicious expression. Got it, meow. With that, Theo packed up Sejun's gift. But isn't there anything for me, Vice Chairman Theo, meow? I want to wear the same boots as Chairman Park, meow. He began to indulge his own desires, imagining himself wearing the same golden boots as the great Chairman Park, clinging to his knee. My heart pounding with excitement, meow. Just the thought made his heart race. Wait a moment. Could I make it with the remaining golden dragon leather? Emila, lost in thought, glanced at Theo, whose face was full of anticipation. Wait a little bit. She disappeared for a minute and then reappeared. Here. She handed over a pair of golden boots, perfectly sized for Theo's hind paws. Pew hut, thank you, meow. Now I can wear the same golden boots as Chairman Park, meow. Theo, overjoyed, hugged his boots tightly and thanked Emilla. And then I'll be going, meow. He packed the golden boots into his bag and quickly dashed off, jumping back to the ground. Maybe I should have made them a bit better. Seeing how happy Theo was, Emilla felt a pang of guilt. She had made them hastily with leftover fabric and leather. Well, they're golden boots after all. Oh, they've already caught up, those annoying apostles of destruction. Emilla hurriedly moved the location of her garden. 99th floor of the Black Tower. Today was the 5th day of the Harvest Festival, a day without any competition, so Sejun spent his morning harvesting the destruction devourer seeds and other crops in the void storage. Tug, as Sejun harvested a plum that seemed no different from the others. But then, you have harvested a plum of deep sleep. Your field LV8 has activated, causing additional damage. Your job experience slightly increases. Your proficiency of harvesting LV9 slightly increases. You have gained 100 experience points. A different name appeared in the message. Plum of Deep Sleep. You have achieved the achievement of creating a new variety in the tower. As a job trait, all stats increase by 20. Hee. Sejun smiled at the new variety after a long time. What's its option? Though the name suggested its effect, he checked the details for accurate information. Plum of Deep Sleep. A plum grown inside the Black Tower, rich in nutrients and delicious. Cultivated by a highly skilled farmer, its taste and efficiency have been greatly enhanced. Upon consumption, it induces deep sleep for 1 hour. If multiple are eaten simultaneously, the sleep effect diminishes, and consuming over 1,000 results in no effect. During the sleep, physical fatigue is quickly relieved, and you will wake up immediately once the sleep ends. Grower, Black Tower Farmer Park, Sejun. Expiration date, 1 year. Grade S. So eating this guarantees a sound sleep. It seemed perfect for eating one before a nap. Great, I'll plan it right away. Sejun cut open the plum of deep sleep and extracted the seed, then planted it in Kruger's body. And, crack, the plum seed quickly began to grow. As the seed grew rapidly, Urine, come and try this. Thank you. Sejun called Urine, who was passing by, and gave him the plum of deep sleep to eat. Wow, it's delicious, huh? Thud. You're wrong. Urine immediately fell into a deep sleep. Wow, it really works. Urine, I'll make something delicious for you when you wake up. Sejun covered the fallen Urine with a blanket and stood up to head to the kitchen. At that moment, Chairman Park, I've returned, meow. Theo, back from the Green Tower, clung onto Sejun's face. Yeah, did you have a good trip? When Sejun grabbed Theo's sides with both hands and peeled him off. Pew hut, yes, meow, take this, meow, it's a gift for Chairman Park, meow. Chug. Theo, with a proud expression, pulled a golden item out of his bag. What is this? I got it from Emilana, meow. You just have to attach it to the shoes like this, meow. Theo bounced off Sejun's hand, freeing himself, and then, thud. He kicked off the air, landed on the ground, and grabbed the 2 golden items in his front paws. He brought them to Sejun's feet, and then, flash, a golden light burst forth. And, why did they turn into boots? Before Sejun knew it, he was wearing golden boots. What? Hurriedly, Sejun checked the options of the golden boots. Excellent Farmer's Golden Boots. These boots were crafted by Emilla Ibings, the first apostle of the Creator God, using the wool of the golden sheep and the leather of the great golden dragon. Each stitch was carefully sewn to create boots fit for a farmer. The use of the great golden dragon's leather significantly increases defense and lightning resistance. When worn, the potential of all stats increases by 1,000, and movement speed in the field increases by 30%. When the sound of farmers' footsteps is heard by crops while wearing these boots, their growth rate increases by 50%. Usage restriction, Tower Farmer. Creator, Emila Ibins, first apostle of the Creator God. Usage restriction, Park Sejun, farmer of the Black Tower. Grade. Skill, Great Blessing of the Crops Master. Great Blessing of the Crops Master. When crops hear the sound of the farmer's footsteps, they express gratitude to the farmer, greatly enhancing the farmer's potential. Oh, the options had improved significantly compared to before. It even increased movement speed by 30% while in the field. Sejun quickly started running across Kruger's body. However, the speed didn't feel any different from before. What's going on? Sejun, puzzled, wondered if. Oh, could it be? He pressed down and planted the seed of the Destruction Devourer into the ground while moving. Your field LV-8 has activated. You have planted the seed of the plum of deep sleep in the body of Kruger, the destroyer of mountains and seventh seat of the Apostle of Destruction. Whiz whiz. Suddenly, his movement speed increased dramatically. It seemed that only when the Yura field skill activates is the enemy's body recognized as a field. It was a bit inconvenient to use, but still it was better than nothing. Sejun was quite satisfied with it. His defense and lightning resistance had increased, and the growth rate of crops would speed up by 50% when they heard his footsteps. Also, the skill name had changed from Blessing of the Crops to Great Blessing of the Crops, resulting in an even greater boost to his potential, especially the plus 1000 potential boost. It was an option that was too necessary for Sejun, who wanted to try creating a miracle by eating the golden grape infused with the energy of the world. Haha, Vice Chairman Theo, you did great, but how did you meet Emilanum? Sejun, pleased with the golden boots, placed Theo on his lap and asked with a bright expression. Pew Hut, Chairman Park told me, meow. I did. Pew Hut, that's right, meow. And now hurry and give me some of that churu that Chairman Park made, meow. Theo, already puffed up with pride from Sejun's praise, didn't resolve Sejun's doubt and lay flat on his back, demanding his churu. All right. Sejun gave Theo some of the tuna churu he had made himself. Jog. Theo began eating the treat eagerly. All right, now shall I create a miracle? Nom. Sejun began eating the golden grape infused with the energy of the world, while stroking Theo's head as he hummed. Since the grapes were described as capable of creating a small miracle, Sejun didn't have high expectations. As Sejun ate the grapes, Theo, having eaten his fill of churu, took out the golden boots Emila had given him from his bag. Shabby golden boots. The boots had patches here and there due to the lack of enough proper-sized leather, but Pew Hut, now I'm wearing the same golden boots as Chairman Park, meow. As long as they were the same golden color boots as Sejun's, Theo didn't care. Meow. Theo hummed a tune as he put on the golden boots. Pew Hut, all done, meow. He felt extremely proud as he alternated between looking at Sejun's golden boots and his own. At that moment, you have consumed the golden grape infused with the energy of the world. All stats have increased by 10. The energy of the world gathers slightly. The energy of the world gather to create a small miracle. After Sejun ate 100 golden grape infused with the energy of the world, a miracle occurred. Meow. The golden boots Theo was wearing started to glow. TL Puss in Boots. Chapter 479. What? This is a cheat item. Under the ground of the 82nd floor of the Silver Tower. Drrrrrr. Pew. Heather. The residents, having eaten their fill for the first time in decades, were sleeping while awaiting the next grape wine drinking competition. And this looks good. Quinn was watching them enviously. Currently, other wind sorcerer were taking turns guarding the grapevine. A little while later. Nod. Cug. Quinn, who had dozed off for a brief moment, groaned and came to his senses. His eyes were bloodshot, like a madman's. Just a little longer. Quinn spoke as if trying to comfort himself. Although the great silver dragon Chrysella Hisron had treated Quinn's madness, it hadn't been completely cured, and Quinn's madness had slowly been resurfacing over the past several decades. It was especially severe when he tried to sleep, so Quinn had been holding on without sleep for years. I want to sleep. There were thousands of times when he nearly succumbed to the temptation of simply wanting to sleep. Knowing that the moment he fell asleep, everyone in the Silver Tower would die, he had fortunately managed to resist with all his might up until now. At least he thought he would sleep after finding his successor, an eternal sleep. 99th floor of the Black Tower. Heh, what kind of miracle is going to happen now? Sejun, who was looking around with eyes full of expectation. He belatedly discovered Theo's shining golden boots on his knee. It was truly dark under the lamp. Due to the light, the item's name wasn't visible. Chairman Park. Chairman Park has created a miracle on my golden boots, meow. As expected, Chairman Park is amazing, meow. When Theo, whose eyes met Sejun's, shouted in an excited voice while looking at his golden boots. Of course. I performed a miracle especially for Vice Chairman Theo, who has been working so hard. Sejun spoke proudly to Theo, as if he had intended it all along, and Hut, so that's what it was, meow. Chairman Park created a miracle just for me, meow. Theo was greatly moved by Sejun's words. At that moment, flash, a golden light exploded from the boots, and an auspicious glow spread around. And then, golden boots of the one who believes in miracles. The name of the golden boots Theo was wearing appeared. Then shall we see the results of the miracle I performed. Hut, hurry and check, meow. Theo stretched out his hind leg, so Sejun could have a good look at the golden boots. Grip. Sejun grabbed the boots and checked their options. Golden boots of the one who believes in miracles. Shabby golden boots, a D-grade item, has transformed into a completely different item due to a miracle. The golden dragon's leather used in the material has miraculously merged into one, making the seams disappear, and thanks to this, defense and lightning attribute resistance have greatly increased. The stronger the faith in Park Sejun, who performed the miracle, the higher the stat and potential boost. Stats can increase by up to 10,000, and there is no limit to potential increase. Creator, Black Tower's Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Usage restriction, only those who believe in Park Sejun. Grade. Skills, Light Speed Meow Step, Master, Money Hug, Master, Money Churu, Master. Light Speed Meow Step, Master. Move at the speed of light for 1 second. Can only be used once a day. Money Hug, Master. As long as you're hugging Black Tower's Tower Farmer Park Sejun, you can gain 10,000 tower coins per second. Money Churu, Master. Each time you eat churu made by Black Tower's Tower Farmer Park Sejun, you gain 1 billion tower coins. What? This is a cheat item. Sejun was astonished as he read through the item's options. It's ridiculously good. He had been happy with just a 1,000-point increase in potential, but here, there were no limits to potential increase. Of course, the part about needing strong faith in him for the item to be effective was very satisfying. And then, 6 stars. This item had a 6-star rating. 5 stars are considered creation level, so what level is this then? Sejun's expression became more and more dazed as he read the explanation. However, what were these theocentric skills? As he checked the skills, his mind gradually cleared. Setting aside Light Speed Meow Step, both Money Hug and Money Churu were clearly skills created to fulfill Theo's personal desires. Lucky guy. Good for him, even the skills are helping him out. As Sejun was feeling envious of Theo. The Tower Farmer of the Black Tower, Park Sejun, has achieved the great creative feat of crafting a primordial level item. As a reward for your great creative feat, you have obtained the title, the one who glimpsed the beginning. As a reward for your great creative feat, the cost of staying on the 0th floor of the Black Tower will be reduced by 3% from now on. Sejun gained a title. The effect was, title, the one who glimpsed the beginning. Usually when he acquired a title, its information appeared immediately, but this time, there was no information at all. Hehe, still, I confirmed something good. To think that a miracle I perform could transform a D-grade item into a primordial level 1. Sejun smiled with great satisfaction after confirming the effect of a small miracle. Of course, it was just Sejun's misconception. Seed Shop Headquarters. 10,000 Mushroom Ants, tenant farmers of Park Sejun, the tower farmer of the Black Tower, have seen your temple. Divine power increases by 1. 500 Calamity Guardian Destruction Devourers have witnessed your temple. Divine power increases by 5. Hahaha, there are blessings for those who believe. Believe in Park Sejun, trust in Park. Uncle, the god of the grapevine, shouted enthusiastically, trust in Park, as he watched the messages. Usually, there were other non-combat gods beside him chanting along, but today he was alone. It wasn't because they had fought over the distribution of divine power. Rather, it was because Sejun had shortened the seed shop's opening period by 6 days using 6 random shortening tickets, and the seed shop would open tomorrow. Everyone else was at home, creating the seeds that Sejun would draw. At that moment, the auspicious light generated by the great miracle performed by Black Tower's tower farmer Park Sejun has reached the temple. Divine power increases by 10. A message appeared before Uncle. Why is it a great miracle instead of a small one? The golden grape, infused with the energy of the world that Uncle had given, could only create small miracles. Uncle wondered. In reality, the miracle Sejun had caused was indeed a small one. However, Puhu Hut Chairman Park created a miracle for me. Meow. As expected, Chairman Park is great. Meow. Theo, deeply moved by the miracle Sejun performed, praised him even more. In that process, the divine power that Theo had absorbed from the temples of the gods until now enhanced the miracle, transforming the small miracle into a great one. And then, trust in Park, trust in Park, trust in Park. The non-combat gods, who had been busy crafting seeds at home, started coming out one by one and chanting slogans. Because not only Uncle, but also the temple and divine relics on the 99th floor of the Black Tower had been reached by the light of the great miracle, so the non-combat gods' divine power had increased. While the non-combat gods were chanting, trust in Park. It's noisy. Be quiet. The rough voices of the combat gods echoed from beyond the wall. Trust in Park. Trust in Park. As a result, the non-combat gods could only chant in voices as tiny as ants. At that moment, starting now will begin the warrior's song. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Brave warriors there are many, but the warrior who made a miracle is Warrior Park Sejun. When fighting, he risks his life. He doesn't hesitate in the face of danger. He doesn't hesitate in the face of danger. The loud singing voices of Bev, the god of courage and thunder, the god of storms, echoed from beyond the wall. The light of the great miracle had also affected the heart of courage that Sejun possessed and the thunderbolt staff of Kyungi, significantly boosting both their divine power. Thus, they were singing a song in honor of Sejun. And why are the combat gods singing the name of our Park Sejun? The non-combat gods who heard the combat gods' song fell into a panic. Then for the next miracle. As Sejun was happily daydreaming about where to use his next miracle. Chairman Park, take this too, meow. Thea handed over 3 land deeds and a green orbs of life that he had received from Turbo and Shark. Land deed for the 35th floor of the Green Tower. Land deed for the 50th floor of the Brown Tower. Land deed for the 82nd floor of the Silver Tower. A land deed for the Silver Tower. While checking the land deeds, Sejun's eyes caught the one for the Silver Tower. If Urin had brought the Silver Tower's land deed, Sejun would have never gone there, quest or not. However, the one who brought this was the King of Luck, Theo. Should I go there sometime later? Sejun's opinion about the Silver Tower started to shift in a more positive direction. Well done, Vice Chairman Theo. Sejun patted Theo's head while praising him after collecting the items, and Pew Hut, I Vice Chairman Theo always do a good job, meow. Theo, brimming with pride, got even more excited after receiving Sejun's praise. Yes, yes. Heh, so soft. Sejun continued to gently pat Theo's head with even more care. And, why am I sleeping here? Urin, who had eaten the plum of deep sleep, woke up and started looking around in confusion. Ah, that's right. Only then did Sejun hurriedly start preparing lunch. A little while later. Kyung. Heh, Dad, sit there and wait. Kyung. Krrrk. After lunch, Kyungi sat Sejun down and began grinding coffee beans into powder with his front paws. The beans were ground much more evenly and finely than when Sejun had used the millstone. Shake, shake. Kyungi carefully poured the finely ground coffee powder into a dripper. Tab, tab. Kyungi gently tapped the dripper on the table, leveling the coffee powder smoothly. Then, Kyung. Flamey Nuna, are you ready? Yep, it's just right. Flamey used her telekinesis to move the kettle she had boiled with her flames. Drip, drip. Slowly tilting the kettle, Flamey began pouring hot water over the dripper, and the coffee started brewing. Having watched Sejun brew coffee many times, Kyungi's coffee brewing skills were impeccable. Kyung. Dad, it's done, hurry try it. With an eager expression, Kyungi handed the coffee he had brewed to Sejun. All right, I'll drink it well. Slurp. Sejun took a sip of the coffee Kyungi had given him. A fragrant floral scent filled his mouth, mingling with a sweet aroma. The rich flavor and smooth bitterness danced together in his mouth like a waltz. Gulp. As the coffee went down his throat, the tangy sourness of lemon gave a refreshing aftertaste. At the same time, to think I'm drinking coffee brewed by my Kyungi. A wave of emotion surged over him. It's perfect. Praising Kyungi's coffee for its aroma, taste, and the feelings it evoked, Sejun gave him a thumbs up. Immediately. Kyung. Heh, Dad acknowledged me. Kyungi, thrilled to be recognized by Sejun, expressed his joy with a butt dance, wiggling his hips. Honestly, it was more delicious than the coffee he brewed himself. Should I ask Kyungi to make coffee from now on? I could probably bribe him with some pocket money. As Sejun was thinking about comfortably drinking coffee in the future, while watching the dancing Kyungi. Black Tower Administrator Area. Kyuhihi, I'm so excited. Time to start preparing to meet Sejun. Aileen was trying on various outfits as she prepared to meet Sejun. On the last day of the Harvest Festival, thanks to the blessing of peace, attack power would decrease by 30%. On top of that, with Sejun receiving buffs like Absolute Protection and the Bean set, and she receiving all sorts of debuff magic. Although she regularly used debuff magic, Aileen had recently discovered a powerful new debuff magic spell in the library. Originally, it was a terrifying curse made to kill cheating boyfriends, but Kyuhihi, Sejun, just wait a little longer, soon we'll be able to meet. Despite the curse creator's original intent, it seemed Aileen was going to use it to protect her boyfriend instead. But why isn't this thing growing? You need to grow quickly so our Sejun can be happy. Let's grow dragon fruit. Aileen said as she looked at the potted dragon fruit plant floating beside her. Following Sejun's suggestion to keep the plant close, Aileen had enchanted the pot to float and follow her around. Float. Of course, the dragon fruit plant didn't respond. At that moment, Kuahaha, Aileen, your grandpa's back. Kaiser had returned. Chapter 480, It's Gone. Black Tower Administrator's Area. Grandpa, you're here. When Aileen ran toward Kaiser and greeted him warmly. As expected, Aileen missed me too. Kaiser was moved by Aileen's warm welcome. But then, Grandpa, do you know what a dragon fruit is? Dragon fruit, I don't really. Ah, never mind if you don't know. It seemed that her affection was limited to grandpas, who could tell her things she didn't know. As soon as Kaiser answered, Aileen turned around to do her own thing. My granddaughter, I've heard about dragon fruit from the elders in the past. Startled by his granddaughter's sudden change in attitude, Kaiser quickly opened his mouth. Then, really, tell me. Aileen quickly ran back, massaging Kaiser's shoulders as she urged him. Kuahaha, all right, I'll tell you, it was about when I was 300 years old. Kaiser, wanting to extend the massage from his granddaughter, started his story from 1,000 years before the actual time he heard about dragon fruit. 99th floor of the Black Tower. All right, now that I've finished my morning tasks, should I test this out? Sejun began putting on the durable spider silk camouflage suit that Ji Gomi had made. The Eamdal's sturdy dalsat made by Eamdal had proven its performance by making delicious and sticky rice in just 1 minute for lunch, and the well-aged golden samyangju that K-Kabai had made couldn't be tested because it required either over 1 million magic power or a being with divinity to use. And the orb of death's energy that Karurur had crafted, which supposedly prevented aging, would take some time to verify if it truly worked, since aging would only become noticeable as time passes. Additionally, the Harvester of Death skill embedded in the Orb of Death's energy had no suitable place to be used. Puhuhud. Vice Chairman Theo, get off for a moment. Sejun tried to remove Theo off his lap to test the camouflage skill against Theo, Kyungi, and Flamey. I don't want to, meow, absolutely not, meow. Theo immediately rejected the request. Grab. Meow. In the end, Sejun forcibly separated Theo. Sejun, after removing Theo like that. Instead, if you find me after 5 minutes, I'll let you follow me even to the bathroom. Although he set a reward that seemed more like a punishment. Puhuhut, deal, meow. I will definitely find you, meow. Theo agreed happily. Kyung. What will Kyungi get if Kyungi finds you too? Next to him, Kyungi, hearing the mention of a reward, looked at Sejun with expectant eyes and asked, if Kyungi finds me, I'll give you pocket money. Kuaha, Kyungi. Hehe, that's good. And Flamey, is there something you want? Hee, nope. Flamey answered Sejun's question cheerfully. Then if Flamey finds me, I'll grant you one wish. After thinking for a moment, Sejun spoke. Really? Yes, now it's your turn next, so wait. Theo, cover your eyes for 5 minutes. Got it, meow. At Sejun's words, Theo covered his eyes with his paws. And so, the hide-and-seek between Sejun and Theo began. 5 minutes later. Puhuhut, Chairman Park, I'm coming to find you now, meow. As soon as the game started, Theo didn't even bother looking around and ran straight in the direction where Sejun was hiding. I found Chairman Park, meow. He found Sejun, who was camouflaged and hiding among the corn, far too easily. Even from a distance, Theo, equipped with the highly sensitive Sejun Ni detector, capable of detecting Sejun's presence and even if Sejun's in danger, rendered the camouflage skill useless. Puhuhut, Chairman Park, now I get to follow you to the bathroom too, meow. Thanks to that, Theo was excited that he wouldn't have to be separated from Sejun, even when he went to the bathroom. Sigh, fine. On the other hand, Sejun could only sigh. Still, since I put purifying charcoal in the bathroom, I won't hear complaints about poop smell, right? While Sejun was worrying about taking Theo with him to the bathroom. Kyung. Now it's Kyungi's turn. Kyungi shouted excitedly. However, Kyungi, I'll give you the pocket money, and Flamey, tell me your wish. Sejun admitted defeat before it even started by giving Kyungi 1,000 tower coins as pocket money and asking Flamey for her wish. While Sejun was using his camouflage skill and moving around during the 5 minutes that Theo had his eyes covered. Kyung Kyung. Hug hug. Both Kyungi and Flamey followed Sejun's movements with their eyes. They can see everything. I'll tell you my wish later. All right, just let me know later. Thus, Sejun failed his camouflage skill test against the three. All right, everyone, let's go. All right, meow. Kyung. Yes. Sejun put all three inside the camouflage suit and began moving. And Kyum. Sejun noticed Blackie, who had just woken up and was stretching and yawning lazily in front of the house. Hehe, my next prey, test subject spotted. Step. Sejun, using the camouflage skill, carefully approached Blackie. Hehe, he'll definitely scream Kyung in surprise. Whoa. Just as Sejun was about to jump out and shout woof, while imagining Blackie's startled reaction. Killa hit Kyung. Hee, butler, give me food. Blackie barked towards Sejun first. Ji Gomi, having sensed the suit she made coming closer, had hung onto Blackie's ear and told him the direction Sejun was coming from. No fun. Here, eat this. Since Sejun had missed the opportunity for a fun scare, he instead fed Blackie and his subordinates the lunch leftovers he had saved for them. A little while later. All right, let's go again. Pew hut, all right, meow. Kyung. Yes. Killa hit. After finishing the meal, Sejun put Blackie and his subordinates into his sling bag, wore them inside the camouflage suit, and set off again. And Kwek. Head. While camouflaged, Sejun secretly harvested the mushrooms growing on the backs of mushroom ants, and Sejun's food really seems delicious. Yeah, I've never tasted anything that good in my life. I'll really miss it when we go back. But I wonder what will be for dinner tonight. Sejun is really generous, don't you think? Totally, and he seems stronger than he looks. Even the Minotaur King is careful around him. Head. He overheard praises about himself. What are you saying? That Park Sejun guy is such a pushover. There were also some guys who badmouthed him occasionally, but Kyungi front paw. Kyung. Sejun had Kyungi slap the back of their head with his paw. Thwack. After finishing the camouflage skill test, that way, Sejun went to see the Minotaur King. Minotaur King, give me special training. He wanted to test how well the durable spider silk camouflage suit could distribute force. Moo moo. 2 fingers, 5 minutes, let's begin. Okay. With Sejun's agreement, the Minotaur King pressed down on him with 2 fingers. And you've withstood an immense weight. Strength has increased by 1. Your body has endured tremendous pressure. Stamina has increased by 1. Sejun was able to confirm the performance of the suit by enduring 2 minutes longer than the Minotaur King's expectation. Though, thanks to the gear, the training effect was the same as if he had endured for the full 5 minutes. Performance fully passed. Head. When Sejun finished testing the durable spider silk camouflage suit and returned to the farm. Kuahaha, Sejun, have you been well? Uahaha, Sejun, we've returned. Puahaha, did you miss us? Dahaha, of course, we've been doing well. The dragons from the 4 Dragon Council, who had returned after dealing with Jormungandr, the world-devouring serpent and 3rd seat of the Apostle of Destruction, came to visit Sejun. Did everything go well? Kuahaha, of course, who do you think we are? We're the great dragon race, we handled it smoothly. All 9 dragons of the dragon clans had ganged up on Jormungandr for 5 hours, yet Kaiser boasted proudly as if it was nothing. Of course, this also meant that Jormungandr's power, after releasing the 5th level seal, was truly tremendous. Releasing the 5th level seal was on a completely different level compared to the previous 4 seals. At that moment, where is this delicious smell coming from? Yeah, it smells stronger than the golden samyangju. Does that mean it's even tastier? The excited dragon statues began sniffing around, looking for the source of the smell. Originally, these dragon statues couldn't smell anything. but after modifying each other's statues, they had gained the ability to smell. Ah, that smell is probably because of this. Sejun proudly pulled out the well-aged golden samyeonju and showed it to the sniffing dragon statues. He had already planned to sell this samyeonju to the dragons at an even higher price, as he couldn't drink it himself. Haha, they'll definitely go crazy, fighting to buy it first. Sejun imagined the dragons pulling out their money and fighting to buy the samyeonju. Huh. This is bad. The label on the bottle still had K-Kabai listed as Delia, the Apostle of Destruction. He remembered too late that the description on the well-aged golden samyeonju mentioned this. What should I do? Actually, our Blackie is an exorcist, so he exorcised the Apostles of Destruction. As Sejun desperately racked his brain to figure out how to explain it to the furious dragons. Kuehaha, Sejun, I'll buy it all. What are you talking about? I'm buying it all. Wait, I'm buying it all. Minus 300 billion tower coins per bottle. Completely ignoring Sejun's worries, the dragons were already pulling out their money, fighting to buy the well-aged golden samyeonju. Huh? What's going on? Sejun was relieved, but something still felt off. He quickly pulled out another bottle of well-aged golden samyeonju and checked the description. What, it's gone. He confirmed that all mentions of the Apostle of Destruction had been erased from the bottle's description. It was the effect of the small miracle Sejun had unintentionally created. The miracle Sejun had triggered didn't just affect Theo's golden boots, it had happened in various places at the same time. Phew. Saved. Thanks to this, Sejun was able to hide the true identity of Blackie's subordinates from the dragons. Sejun, who had overcome a great crisis like that. Let's make it a bit more than 300 billion tower coins. Pew hut, that's right, meow. Dragon nymphs spend more money, meow. With Theo's encouragement, Sejun ended up selling 2 bottles of well-aged golden samyeonju to each dragon at 500 billion tower coins per bottle, earning a total of 4 trillion tower coins. Thanks to this, the dragons handed over all the tower coins they had earned from defeating Jormungandr directly to Sejun. And then, Kuahaha, H here, have a drink each. I'm giving you the honor of tasting the alcohol bought by a VVIP. Kaiser, who had accumulated a total purchase amount of 5 trillion tower coins, became a VVIP of the dragon market and began teasing Kellyan, Ramter, and Tyr while sharing one of the bottles he had just bought. Damn it, to think I have to watch Kaiser flaunt his status like that. Disgusting, absolutely disgusting. I need to make money fast. I feel bad, but it's so delicious. Although they were annoyed by Kaiser's arrogance, the taste was too good for Kellyan, Ramter, and Tyr to leave. Black Tower Administrator's Area. Kuehaha, so do you know what this old man got for his 700th birthday? Kaiser had been drinking and talking non-stop about his old stories for 6 hours. Grand DPA. Aileen, her patience completely worn out, called out to Kaiser in a cold voice. Q-hu-hu-hu. Yes, my dear granddaughter, did you call this old man? Kaiser, drunk on the joy of becoming a VVIP of the dragon market, teasing other dragons, drinking delicious alcohol, and chatting with Aileen, didn't notice that Aileen's mood had changed. And, Grandpa, you liar, you don't know anything about the dragon fruit. The result was his granddaughter's fiery outburst. Aileen, your grandpa isn't a liar. Let me tell you what I've heard about dragon fruit. Of course, being a doting grandfather, Kaiser, desperate not to lose his granddaughter's affection, began recounting a story he had heard about dragon fruit. A long time ago, among the 10 dragons first created by the creator god, when the first white dragon Kelgas perished in battle, there's a legend I've heard that, when the creator god harvested the dragon fruit he had grown in tears, Kelgas was revived. Really? Then how do you grow dragon fruit? Grow it? Well, since the creator god was the one who grew it, I wouldn't know. Ah, but they did say the creator god was crying while growing it, so maybe it's the creator god's tears. Silently, Aileen activated the portal, and using her administrator privileges, expelled Kaiser.